Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your humble host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And with me today is my very good friend who I'm very happy to have on the show, Mr. Doug TenNapel. Oh no, you're muted. Hold on. It's not my fault. It's probably my fault, but just
It's you.
You're fixed. You're back.
It's you. Yeah,
It's
I'm
my
fixed
fault.
also.
So,
I did get a vasectomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is you. Don't you blame that on me. I do usually do the boomer thing where it's me, but that was you.
I wasn't gonna blame you. I was gonna blame software or
Blame
YouTube.
Canada.
Yeah, anything other than me. But no, I realized that was me because I had it. Sometimes after my show, I'll do a Twitch show where I just play some video games, and I don't like wearing headphones for that. So I have it running through my computer speakers.
Jack your sound.
Yeah. So that was my fault.
Brother, what are you doing tonight?
What am I doing tonight?
What are you doing tonight?
I'm here with one purpose in mind tonight. Well, one primary purpose with several secondary purposes.
Yeah, there's never just one purpose.
No. The main purpose is I am here to try and help sell some more Earthworm Jim comics. I want people to have this book. I want them to own this piece of history brought back and enjoy it the way I own and enjoy Bigfoot Bill.
You're doing them a huge service. Yeah,
that's how I see everything. I'm really doing the world a favor.
Yeah.
No, I want people to realize, because there are people who might not know that Earthworm Jim has 4 days left on its campaign, coming down to almost down to 3 days left on the campaign. Yeah. So I'm here with you to do a final push on Earthworm Jim. We're going to talk about some other things along the way.
Oh, we'll entertain. This is not a commercial.
No, but shocking surprise twist of the knife. I have a commercial to do about 45 minutes to an hour from now. We're going to do the first official sponsor of the Rekieta Lawsplaining show. Somebody took the dive, and I love them for it, and I love the product. And that's legitimate. I got one about, I've been using it about a week now. I will show you all. Here, I'll show it now. This is not the ad. This is a Ridge wallet. The Ridge wallet. You've probably seen these things sitting around in your little, they do ads on Twitter and Instagram and everything.
Yeah, if you've your smart friends probably have them. Your dumb ones wouldn't have heard about it.
Right, exactly.
So all the audiences of those other lawyer shows know about this.
Well, those other lawyers don't have audiences. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but it's the Ridge, and they make this wallet. They make some other cool stuff, and we'll do the ad. There's a promo code, so if you guys like the product, I would ask you to buy it. I think you'll like the promo code and stuff like that. But
reveal that in 45 minutes.
That's right. They paid for one ad read. They get one ad read. I'm
just thankful when you were saying and they sent me one and I like the product. I was just happy it wasn't a catheter.
Yeah. Well, that's the next sponsor.
You got the coolest sponsor though right now. You got a cool product. You don't got to be ashamed of that one. It's not
no. I like it. And so we'll be doing that in a while. I'm kind of excited. I don't know how it's going to go. They didn't send me a script. They just said, do the read. Here's some ideas. So it's going to be me, not like RoboMe. And most importantly, guys, this is huge. They did not tell me what show to do it on, what to say, what not to say. There are no weird strings attached to this ad read, and there's no compromise or anything. They just trusted. They trusted me. They trusted you guys to do the thing.
So you may not be allowed to say this, but I can say this is because I'm just a guest.
Yeah, you're just a guest.
Guys, get your dough ready for the wallet, but don't get it yet because we're going to plug in Nick's name. He's going to have his little secret name that you put in that tells them this is an effective ad.
Right.
So you're going to start getting metrics on this, and then you can go to other people and say,
that's right.
This is what this show can do for your catheter.
Fleshlight is next, someone says.
Yeah.
How many fleshlights do you own, Doug?
Oh man, we'd get them. We'd get like those 9-packs
of fleshlights.
At Costco, they're the little metal ones. You can run over them and stuff. They're LEDs.
I don't know if we're talking about the same thing.
Flashlights.
I said fleshlights.
A flashlight. How dare you, sir?
Hold on. What I just heard though is Doug admit to a live audience that he goes to Costco and buys 9 packs of fleshlights.
Yes, I mule them. I mule them to Tijuana. That's what I do with my fleshlights.
They have the donkey edition, I hear there.
Yeah, the donkey edition. It's horrifying.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you.
Look at that. My ears are going now too.
Yeah, that's time to turn it in, Doug. Time to turn it in.
That's gross.
I know. That was the whole point of the joke. I was waiting for your awkward reaction, then you rolled with it straight into the Costco reference.
I thought you said fleshlights. Yeah, and I was bringing my family into it. I'm going, yeah, my family, we get when we put a fleshlight in every room.
They need a fleshlight.
Yeah.
And like a biff or an outhouse or whatever, you need like a fleshlight where it's like, okay, you're in here now. Here's a little light for you.
I don't know anything about a fleshlight. I don't ever want to know. I don't ever want to know anything beyond the name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll send you a 9-pack. Okay.
Used.
But we're going to talk about some other things. I hope you're down. One, I've got some questions for you about Earthworm Jim, about crowdfunding, about breaking the barriers of the gatekeeping in entertainment. Because I mean, we've talked about this before, but I don't ever want to not talk about this. I think it's so important, and I think we've got so many industries and major companies flailing about in their death throes. Yeah,
in comics, games, movies are in a tight spot, and it's getting tighter on them.
Right. And of course, anime, lawsuits, like this is not a fake thing. As you know, we've been crowdfunding for Vic. Thank you very much for sharing that, by the way. And for
I did a big GoFundMe. I did a donation to Vic.
Yep.
And so what was the name of it again? I know I paid it. I don't remember what it was.
It's Vic Kicks Back.
Vic Kicks Back. I made a donation and I spread the link around because it doesn't do any good to just make a donation. And usually I make my donations anonymously, right? But because I don't like, doing that. But you have to actually spread the link around for other people it helps that person who you're trying to help by spreading the link around when you donate.
Right. And that's what I've told people is that, sharing it is as important as donating. And if people can't afford to donate, we very much appreciate a share because that pays dividends. It really does.
Absolutely does.
And Vic's campaign has been shared almost 10,000 times, which is kind of crazy to think about. So
a lot of people love him. A lot of people they agree with his fight. We all feel it.
Right. Now, you know what's coming. The tough questions start now, Doug.
I love tough questions.
We demand answers. Demand. I have had.
Let me come up with a good lie first. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
You do that. I have been asked by several people to ask you this question. You have to explain to me.
Okay.
This tells me something about the askers, but you have to explain to me how you were originally thought Vic was guilty.
Yeah.
And explain to me that then you saw those Vic Mignogna dollars and then changed your mind.
Because dollars.
That's how it happened.
Did these people super chat this question?
No, this is on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. I got attacked on Twitter for this. First of all, all this was public on your show.
Right. That's the funny thing. You were the first person I talked to about Vic because I got told about it. I had a panel the next day with several people, but I figured, well, Doug's on here. He's in entertainment. I wonder if he's heard of this guy or anything like this. So I asked
heard
you.
maybe his name, and I said, fill me in. And we went over the initial accusations on your show. First time right here. My pal Nick and I were just talking about Vic.
Yep.
So what I said on that show was, I didn't say I thought he was guilty. I said it sounded weird.
Yeah.
And we had to make, and all men are innocent until proven guilty. I always say that too, but it sounded suspicious. And I'll repeat what I believe I said then, and what I would say, what I know of the voice community. So I know nothing about the online. No one tells me what to think. I don't care. If I thought he was guilty, I'd come out and say, the guy's, I think that he's guilty. Because as you know, I don't change my mind, period, for money. You can pay me all the money in the world. I'll give you a big fat. There's all kinds of stuff I do where I won't lose money.
I've always known you to be a man of soft opinions and weak conviction, Doug.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
If there's one way I could describe you, it's that you have.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something, Nick. In my experience, the people who accuse me the most of doing things for money are the ones probably with the weakest convictions, who are the most likely to do things for money. But that's an allegation. That's just speculation.
And I can't say. I haven't specified who asked, and I don't want to sling anything
I only
around.
know of a couple. I see it on Twitter. So here's what initially rubbed me weird about that allegation from when I first heard, is a fellow voice actor came out against Vic.
Yeah.
So I've directed hundreds of episodes of animated cartoons, and I direct voice actors. This is one of the closest tight communities I've seen. And I mean, I have heard the most awful stuff come out of a voice actor's mouth, and the other actors did not rat him out. I mean, insane sexual abusive stuff, insane racist stuff, just crude, cruel. That's their sense of humor among each other. Among voice actors, it's kind of a fraternity. Now, these are the Hollywood guys that I work with who tend to record in the same room, and I know that the anime community tends to do more pods where they record in from outside sources.
Right.
But so the first thing I thought was, it's very strange to me, number one, that they would come out against him, that a fellow actor on a project would come out against him. I hadn't heard of that. That is flat out a fact, that is a odd occasion, number one. And this is before I read their specifics. The other specific that came out that I thought was strange was that if they're making up a story, they said that he put his hand around the back of her head and squeezed her hair and pulled her in and said something weird or whatever. It wasn't like he grabbed her butt or something, which is usually what an allegation would be.
Right.
So those were the two things that I found weird, as I said on your show. However, a little due diligence will help. By the end of your show, I believe, I was already turning toward Vic's side as I was reading the specifics of the allegations, and it was obvious that the people making these allegations against him were exaggerating. It was full of hyperbole. It was full of what I consider not righteous indignation, but career-killing hatred. Yeah. So they were targeting him. It was very suspect to me, the kinds of things they weren't the kind of things that I've seen victims say. So I'm just saying it was suspect. Yeah. Within 48 hours of seeing the abdication and finding out he was an evangelical Christian, I went, oh, that explains it. Right. And the next time you came on my show, it was completely different. I think that the people making accusations genuinely didn't understand that your initial stance was done. Like, I don't know if they just didn't realize it or what, but it was on my show. I very much remember it. And I remember our discussion. I appreciated the candid nature of it. At the same time, I think if anyone were to watch it back, they would find me trying to, what do we say? Navigate
the differences between what you were talking about and this situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it was really, I thought it was a good discussion because I didn't know anything about Vic, and had not been, certainly not involved to the point I was now. I was at that time literally just a guy who had just heard about it. And we were kind of talking through.
We were just it was an open conversation. We were plunking around. Heaven forbid. And that's the other thing is I don't come to these things with a side already. I'm telling you, we were having a discussion on kind of what we felt and what we thought. We were both, it was a bounce back and forth. If anything, I should have some credibility in that I am willing to doubt someone. I'm not just here jumping on a pro-Vic bandwagon. I've been convinced about a number of things, including he and I have talked on the phone. I haven't been public with this because I didn't want to jump in the middle of this whole thing and say that I consider him a very trusted person in my life by how I interviewed him. And I told him flat out, look, this was what I thought at first. This is what I thought. So he knows all about it. What happened was when I put out that GoFundMe announcement, guys, back Vic up, help him out. This is with true conviction. I'm totally convinced. And then all these people who are of a certain group in Comicsgate tried to create drama and tried to create distance between Vic and I by saying Doug, or between the Vic Kicks Back audience, to try and have them dogpile me is what they tried to do. And that is War Campaign and Cecil. I saw those tweets of guys who like to create drama, and they do it like 8 tweets in a row, and I just don't respond, right? Then I finally respond, and then they accuse you of creating drama. That's how they do it. It's a total strategy, total campaign thing. And even with all this information that goes out now, I can explain that within 48 hours, I was convinced that Vince was good. It had nothing to do with the crowds. I didn't make a dime. I don't see how I made any money. How am I making money off of supporting Vic?
I don't know. That was just the allegation. But someone said I need to ask Doug about that. So I asked you about it. I mean, I remember it was the first Vic show I did. It would have been February like 14th or 16th or something like that. You can go back and watch it and make up your own mind on it for sure. But you know,
how convenient to dig up ancient history. And we've since had many shows since then where I'm in support of Vic and they didn't pick those out. So it's very selective.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think the very next show that you came on, you did, but either way, that's,
I appreciate the challenge, guys. I appreciate the challenge. So thank
you. And so, I don't know. People have to make up their own minds on this stuff. I don't, even if someone was opposed and then changed their mind, that doesn't ever bother me. I would actually hope that some people who were opposed have changed their mind going forward as well.
Yeah. But it's my righteous, conviction of supporting him now that I want to spread the word that I believe personally, just from the man's candor and from what I know, the more I find out and the more I interact with him, the more I'm convinced, boy, this was an absolute hit job. Absolute hunting hit job. It is rooted in jealousy and opportunism, in his great love for his fans and his great love for his God, that this man is being persecuted.
Yep.
Is what I'm convinced of.
I think so too. And more as I've seen things develop, and I see the confidential, secret, super private, except none of those things, affidavits that were sent in by the same people who've been whining on Twitter, begging for an opportunity to make those affidavits. I gotta
trying to dox your address.
I got to talk about this, Doug. So I don't know if you know this. Well, you've got to know this. But there are people out there who, when they're opposed to you, they will forecast exactly what bothers them, and then they will if they're not careful, or if they're not collected, or if they're bad planner, or whatever it is, they will just tell you what they want you to do. Yeah. And so if they're opposed to you, you could just not do it and drive them absolutely batty. Yeah. So I did a show a while back, and I was talking about how weird it was that that Toye and Rial, who are two of the accusers against Vic, had said over and over again how they have all this mountains of evidence and it's all going to come out. And then on Discovery, they produced nothing. They had nothing. They had a list of tweets that other people had made. And they had a couple articles that were published that everybody had talked about already, like from IO9 and Anime News Network and Polygon. And that was the extent of
authoritative, unbiased sources.
Right, exactly. And that was what they had put forth as their discovery. And we're all waiting. Like, the world is waiting for this damning evidence, you know, pictures of him with his hand on some chick's butt, you know, some tear-filled video of a woman who he had assaulted in some real tangible way. Not like I saw him hug someone else and that made me uncomfortable. We're waiting for the first-hand accounts that corroborate this stuff, because they said we have it, it's all coming out, and then they don't produce any of it.
Or even, was it Toya who said that he put his hand on her hair or whatever?
Yeah, Monica Rial. Yeah, she said that he did that. Right
after a record where there's people and pages and assistants walking everywhere in these records. Someone could have seen it. Just give me a backup if someone saw it.
Oh, not only that, it's now she has alleged that it's every time he sees her ever.
Someone would have seen that. One of her friends, she can go call them and say, yeah, you saw it too.
At conventions, everywhere. He does it everywhere, according to her, and did it the first time they met ever, according to her, which tells me that that's not a thing.
And all new information. She forgot to say that the first time.
Right. So also, she doesn't really have a good explanation for how he did it when her hair was too short to do that. But that's a whole separate story. So we're waiting for this information. Me, the audience, people on Twitter are all waiting. We're finally in Discovery. They've finally been asked for all of it, and they produce nothing. So I do a show talking about how they produce nothing. An hour after my show, they supplemented their Discovery. And it was kind of bogus. And then the next night, I believe it was, if I might not have the timeline 100%, is either the next night or the next one, they did it again. They supplemented their Discovery during my show.
Okay.
During my show. And in that, they put out 5 sworn affidavits from different people.
Okay.
And all I could think about was, why are they putting these out now? And I looked at the affidavits, I read through them, and I go, okay, I've seen all these people before, heard this story.
Nothing new.
I thought, I'm going to sit on this for a little bit. Next, it was either within 48 hours. I don't want to say it was the next day because my show runs really late, and I think they waited one more show. Within 48 hours, they were freaking out on Twitter, blasting the same stories that they have already told and then told again in affidavits all over the place. And screaming at a convention, shaming a CEO of this convention because he refused to, not because he refused to support them, but just because he said, we don't actually have any information from the prior owners about any of this, so we can't confirm it. And he was confronted with, denounce Vic and say you'll never have him back or resign from CEO of this convention. That was the ultimatum given to him by this chick with a jaw the size of an excavator.
Yeah, lantern jaw.
Yeah. But so she's one of them. Then there's this other guy, this weird tool of a Star Trek writer named Emmett, who has been vocally anti-Vic since the start and saying, I don't have a side. I'm just neutral here. And then his screed, and he tweets 200 times in a row. I hate it. Whenever he gets in a thread that I'm in, I just get notification after notification from this weird nobody just over and over with the same stuff. It's like, oh my God, just shut up. So so today, like since I got these affidavits, I haven't exposed them. I haven't talked about, I don't know if I've even really talked about who sent them in, or anything. I just let it go. And, and they lost their minds. They had to go out, and they've been trying to, it looks like, at least they've been trying to bait me into talking about these affidavits. And why would you do that? Well, of course, because these affidavits are probably not admissible. They completely slag Vic. It's the same stuff everybody's seen. I don't see why I should report on it in the first place. And their statements are not firsthand accounts. He put his hand on someone else's leg, and that made me uncomfortable. Well, that's not helpful, you idiot. Yeah. We don't know anything about his relationship between that person, even in that short moment. So, or if it even happened. I mean, frankly, have no idea, because how do you show them to have perjured themselves in this situation? Near impossible. Yeah. But so I haven't talked about them. So today, a guy's like, that Emmett guy's like, I don't speak for other people. I'm like, that's weird. In your sworn statement, you sure did. You put your words in someone else's mouth, right? You spoke for this woman. And this other guy's like, what statement? And I'm like, oh, clearly you haven't read his affidavit, which I know he hasn't read the affidavit, because not everybody has one. I do.
Because this is just some kid, not someone involved with the suit.
No, it's just some random guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then he's like, post a link to the affidavit. And I said, nah. But what I did is I screen grabbed the caption, right? Just the top portion of it, which shows that it's the affidavit of the guy. I redacted the state and county that he signed it in, because that wasn't, that doesn't need to be out there.
You don't dox people like the opposition does.
No, I don't, but that's okay. But yeah, so I went ahead and just put that out there, said, yeah, no, I've got it. Here you go. And then suddenly it was like this aha gotcha moment from everybody, and they're like, why do you have this information? It's like, because it was given to me. I'm a journalist. I have sources. And they're freaking out, and they're like, see, this shows. And it's like, shows what? And a lawyer piped up, and he's like, he basically says, it shows that this was given to the defense attorneys, who then gave it to the plaintiff's attorneys, who then gave it to Nick to release or not release at his discretion. And he says it's not illegal, it's probably not unethical, but it shows that he does have a connection to Vic's legal team. It's like, I've had his lawyers on my show like 12 times.
Yeah.
And I've admitted to various things that they have given me. Like, what? But it was like the big gotcha. This isn't illegal. It's not unethical, but we got him.
Yeah, he lost again. Nick lost again.
Doug, how do we become so blessed to have enemies of this high caliber? This guy.
It's important to have the right enemies. Yeah, I feel bad that these enemies are so small. It's hard to be proud with these kinds of enemies, that these little ticks are hitting at us from the sides.
Doug, this is a very important guy. He's got a law degree. He's allegedly a lawyer. I'm not sure what state. I don't know that he's ever practiced, because he calls himself an academic attorney.
He ate a gold bar, got diarrhea, and passed the bar.
But not that there's anything wrong with being an academic attorney, or that it disqualifies him in any way. I'm just saying. And then he's apparently a PhD candidate for something. Oh. So he's a very smart guy, Doug, and his masterful he's got to be pushing close to $300,000-$400,000 in education by now, at least.
He's in debt.
And that bought him the insight that this thing did happen. So
with that kind of expertise, I don't see why you'd go on the air. How can you expose yourself this way?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's see. We're 30 minutes in. Let's talk about Earthworm Jim.
Yeah.
I figure like every 30, 40 minutes or so, we'll bring up the campaign. We'll let people take a look, and we'll talk about it. That sound like a good, fair deal to you?
Yeah, I'm here to play. I'm here to hang And you've already done so great by Earthworm Jim that all of this is gravy. So thanks for your support and your audience's support. You guys have been great. And I'm going to tell you guys a great story. I'm going to make you laugh is the main thing.
Guys, the last time Doug came on the show, I mean, I don't know if we can attribute all of it to this show, but I think a lot.
A lot.
It was like $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 that came in. It was crazy.
Yeah, so let me tell you how that I think might have worked. I think your crew brought in $20K.
Here, I'm pulling it.
With that,
I'm pulling it up while you talk.
Yeah, in a 2-hour period, they brought in about 15, $20K, and what that does is that ticks off a little signal at the Indiegogo algorithm that makes my campaign an influencer, and it goes on their front page. So it drove the campaign to the front page to have that much donating so fast. And then then because of that, it's on the front page, everyone sees it, and then in comes another 15 grand. So it's like, that's how all of this crowdfunding stuff works. It's very similar to the algorithms that you have to move around to keep growing your audience, because it's all automated. They don't have someone in there like pushing and pulling levers or anything. It's kind of like when your audience suddenly comes in and they're all active in the chat, by the way, tons of comments, tons of super chats. Super chats is what
I do after Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a case of the super chats.
Then you pass the bar. It will help blow the campaign up. So your guys definitely came in hardcore and blew it up, and now we're at 450 something thousand.
Well, I got 453,849, but that was before the stream started. So we'll see if it's gone up. I was waiting to refresh it. We're at 456,229.
Holy smokes!
So
see, your audience are cool.
These
people, you guys are supporting someone who has been. I've been fighting this for 20 years, and I'm just now getting, over the last couple years, stable enough in my career where I can do comics full time and not worry about other work. So I'm getting to sit here at my table. Here I'm penciling a page.
Hold on. You're not up on screen. Just a second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There we are. Now you are.
This is right after Jim kisses Princess What's-Her-Name and she slaps his eyeballs off.
She slaps the eyeballs off him. That sounds like a
your first date with Lady Rackets.
No, it sounds like a blaxploitation sitcom dad threat to his kid. Boy, I'm gonna slap the eyeballs off of you.
I'm gonna slap your eyeballs off. Yeah.
Is that appropriation? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's very fun comic. And it's very fun to work on, and I love, you know this from doing a show too. Deep down inside, we're entertainers,
right?
And it's always funner to do a show for a ton of people than just 3. If you're an entertainer, it's fun to do a show for a ton of people. So I'm really appreciative. I don't feel like I deserve this or have this coming or anything. I feel like my whole life has been blessed by people giving me a break. And if they give me a break, I will put on a show. So these people give me a shot.
Okay, so what tier do you get a signed book?
That is the signed book super fan, which is a $70 tier. You get the main comic book.
Featured tier right here on the
featured tier at the top. You get the main comic book, which is 160 pages, hardbound. It's going to have 2 stamps of gold leafing on it, 2 different colors. It's going to have embossing. That's where you pull the images pop out at you. It's going to have debossing, where it has them also divoted in. And 160 pages it's 65 pages longer than Bigfoot Bill. So it's going to be a really thick book, and we have lots of other stretch goals still to hit. So I'm going to start going really obscene with this stuff with some glow in the dark, gold gilded edges. There's a lot of fold out pages. There's a lot of stuff we can still do. It just costs a little more money. So as the campaign continues to raise, I just keep putting the money right back into the book. Right back in. And you get tons of freebies. There's an Earthworm Jim patch. There's a 24-page, the first 24 pages of Bigfoot Bill 2. Everyone gets that printed comic for free. Some comics of these Indiegogos, they're just for a 24-page comic, and I'm throwing that in free. Trading cards, there's 2 sets of trading cards where you can win an original page of Earthworm Jim. And these original pages, you know, they're legit. I'm doing ink washes on them. You can see the ink wash on there.
Yeah.
Lots of detail, really beautiful stuff. If you want to own it, if you're a big super fan of Earthworm Jim and you want to see him hanging out with rednecks in a redneck bar and Psycho getting his ass kicked in the redneck bar, then you want Earthworm Jim.
There you go.
This is what I devoted my life to. So thanks for the opportunity to share, Nick.
Yeah, I really appreciate that you get the opportunity to do this.
It's the backers. It's 100% the backers. So you're introducing me to backers, and then backers come in, and then that's giving me wings to fly. And that's, as an artist, you know what it's like. I mean, a lot of the artists out there in the audience, it is a struggle to make it. And I've been doing this full-time professionally for 30 years, doing video games, TV shows, and comic books. And this has been the best, this campaign, the best 4 months, 3 months of my life. It is insane. And you guys really responded. And a lot of my people who got Bigfoot Bill know the quality that I put out there for the money. Bigfoot Bill costs $25, and it regularly goes on eBay now for $200. It's almost 10 times what people pay for it. So because I don't put these in stores, they're instant collector's items.
Right. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna pull the campaign down for now.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. And that's fantastic, of course. So if you guys want to pick it up, there was a question that I've saw it on Twitter a couple times. I'm guessing you haven't seen it or don't know, but there's a guy who ordered 2 different tiers and he got charged double shipping, and he was wondering if there's anything he can do about that.
Yeah. They just now announced, where you can add an item on Indiegogo.
Sure.
It's like add item. If you add an item, the shipping rate goes down slightly. So to the people who want to add an item or combine things, sometimes you can cancel one of your donations to one of those 2 tiers. And if you rebuy a book or cancel both, rebuy a book, and it will offer you an add-on for the other tier. And you can add it on and then combine. They have slightly less shipping. I give them a break on the second one, but it really, the shipping and fulfillment, they seem expensive, but they're very fair prices. And what it does, it's not just the cost of shipping. It's if your book gets lost, I can send you another one without charging more. It's like your book gets lost and you write me and you go, Doug, the book didn't deliver. We checked the tracking number. Yeah, it got lost. We send you another book.
Sure.
So that costs the same amount of shipping to me. It's double the shipping, the cost of the book too. And we can send them out. So we do really nice white glove service on our shipping and fulfillment. And that includes if you lose it and you're in Russia, we'll send you another book. And they always get lost in Russia. Russia and Canada, their postal system, dude, it's like, throw a dart.
The Canadians are bad at postal systems?
Because their postal system's all socialism and their postal workers are always on strike, that they don't do a high-end job. Now, oddly enough, they're one of the cheaper shipping rates for international, one of the cheapest international, but you get what you pay for. And
Sure.
We'll send Canadians a second book too. If it gets lost, we'll give it another shot till you get your book.
Okay, good. Okay, let me do a couple super chats, and then in about 10 minutes we're going to do that ad read.
Oh, this is going to be good.
I guess. Ad read. It's not an ad read. It's an ad lib, kind of. I
know, but you got to be enthusiastic. You got to present. In good silhouette, the item.
Yeah, I will. I'll show you guys. I'll show you exactly what it is, and it gets my personal stamp of approval.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this. John Johnson. This is well before the show. This is like 7 o'clock. He says, Nick, I'm going to turn off the lights and shout the word grift over and over again in a mirror. I'm hoping it will summon someone from Law Twitter with a snack tray. I worry it might conjure their Chaos God Pope hat, but the Emperor protects. He does. The Emperor protects. We're gonna talk about grifting in a little bit, Doug, because I am allegedly a grifter.
You?
And That's what they say. They say that my GoFundMe for Vic is a grift, even though I get not a penny.
Not a dime?
Not even a penny. Not even a fractional share of a penny. I don't even get a crypto Bitcoin bit or whatever. I got
nothing. Called a grifter all this week by a war campaign, so we're both grifters. We're the grifter show. Boomers and grifters.
That's what we do, apparently.
Yeah, so you'll explain the grift. Is there any more to unpack on that?
We're gonna talk about a definitely non-grifting GoFundMe of another lawyer. We're gonna talk about that one because someone who has called me a grifter over and over, they run a non-grifting GoFundMe campaign. So I just want to point out, where their interesting definition of grifting and why they're very consistent in what they're talking about.
Yeah,
so,
they know they're experts because,
Yes. Stanley Richard says, "Hey, first super chat. Watching the stream while my sister's in ICU. Oh man, I hope she's okay. Thanks, Rekieta, for the live streams and helping keep my mind off of things. Hey, my pleasure, buddy. Hopefully she gets better soon. Austin W says, "Hey, Doug, after listening to you on Nick's show, I think you're a great guy, and I decided to get the Earthworm Jim book and launch the cow. Looking forward to reading both. Keep up the good work. God bless you, brother."
Wow, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm working hard, man, and you guys are gonna have a blast on this campaign. I'm telling you. This is the story I've been waiting to tell for 25 years.
Okay, so this guy on Twitter, he was asking me this in the chat one time, maybe a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
He's like, and I wanted to know if you've heard of it. I have my ideas, but you have a lawyer who you've been working with the entirety, or like the past 2 decades at least.
Yeah.
This guy is wondering if you've ever considered Section 203 of the Copyright Code, which has a clawback provision to get back your license of Earthworm Jim, or to get back the rights.
Yeah. I kind of know about that code. I know my lawyer certainly knows. He's the only conservative lawyer in Orange County. The clawback code, the kinds of documents that I signed in my naivete before I got this lawyer, would trounce any clawback code. It is so exhaustive, the rights turnover that I signed. It says like moral rights, any perceived rights, in parallel universes. Have that kind of language on it.
I've seen it.
It is so thorough that, and really, the rights holders are playing ball with me on this book. So I don't want to get greedy.
The other thing about Section 203, from my read of it, and I'm not an expert in IP. I don't ever claim to be. I always go to Stephen Birch if I have a deep question. But right on the face of the bill, I think it's Section 3, subsection 3, or face of the statute, it says that the rights have to be gone for a minimum of 35 years. Which my understanding is Earthworm Jim's about 25 years, right? 25,
yeah,
26.
And they kept their rights active on him for years after that because they've released sequels. So it ticks off at the last known product. So they've probably put out, some kind of a new PC version like in 2010.
Yeah.
So it's not. I never want to spend one day in a court. It's easier to come up with something new than try and sue for something old, even if it's worth a lot of money. I just don't. But I hear you, and I've heard other people suggest that to me on that clawback provision. It's just, what's been weird is I've remained friendly with the rights owner, and that goes a lot farther.
Yeah, it does. The best way to do business is to do business. I mean, frankly, and the best way to settle legal issues in business is to do more business.
Yeah.
It's a better way than having a bitter fight where both parties are dumping a bunch of money over rights. If you do that and you lose, you're never getting a shot at them.
They won't trust you again. And he and we've built this relationship. And so I really like the idea of, trying to work out a partnership. This isn't a partnership. I mean, I get all of this book money is coming into my business and I get to do with it to pay my crew. But just, I had to throw them some favors on the video game design side of things. And I'm fine with that. It was a fair trade to me.
Yep. Okay, Blink Your Eyes 1400 says, I got hired, though not for the job I applied for. Hey, congrats, buddy. I also bought Earthworm Jim books for me and my brother. I vaguely remember it growing up. I think getting hit by that vehicle made me lose a lot of memories. I was unresponsive for days. I don't know if that's for days or if it's for 4 days. It just says I was unresponsive, the number 4 days. I'm not sure which one that actually
4 days qualifies. 4
right.
days.
The Neon Outlaw. Oh, wait. And then, yeah, the Neon Outlaw says, hey, guys, I have a question for Mr. TenNapel. Would you ever consider reviving the Neverhood now that you've successfully brought back Earthworm Jim? I liked Armacrog, but a proper Neverhood remaster would be fantastic.
I agree. So Neverhood that was the first product DreamWorks funded of my company after Earthworm Jim. So it goes to show how Earthworm Jim, let's say I got burned on those rights, but Spielberg was a huge fan. So he funded my independent video game company called the Neverhood to do a clay animated game that was huge. But EA ended up buying that company. The DreamWorks Interactive is what they bought. And so they got all of the licenses. So now Neverhood's at EA. Now that'll show you the difference between Interplay, who owns Earthworm Jim, and EA that owns the Neverhood. And EA has no interest in the Neverhood. I've tried talking to EA about doing that because they have no interest in it at all. They're all, screw you, we don't ever want to talk to you. Staying in our vault, goodbye, little peon. So it shows like Interplay is a very small company run by one guy, so I can go and do business with him. You cannot do business getting that. I can't ever pull that character out of the vault of EA.
Isn't that crazy? You're never going to touch it, EA.
They're never going
to. Let someone buy it. Let someone buy it.
Now, Good Old Games has gone to EA and tried to do a deal, and they got very close on it. So that would happen, but they would... this is something that you, as a lawyer, would understand. Our rights deal on the Neverhood, the actual royalties that we get, were so high that no one could ever do a game with it again, unless we renegotiated that deal.
Yeah.
So that they've tried that, where they've come in and said, you'll give up all your rights and you'll give up this old royalty stream. And I said, okay, and I will gain full creative control of the video game, so I can create all the characters and the story and everything. They said no. So they basically wanted to have me give everything up and not give me anything for it. And all I want is the artistic integrity of the game that they're not willing to give me.
Look, what we need you to do is we need you to go ahead and give up these rights to the royalties.
Yeah.
And then we're going to give you is less royalties.
See you later. See you later, sucker. That's how EA does it. So,
we're gonna give you the right to be removed as the thorn in our side.
Yeah. So what I could do is, just because Neverhood is done in my style, and they can't own a style. They can own a name and they can own a specific likeness of a character, but I can go and create another Neverhood type game in my style. It's what I do. Yeah. And it would have similar music and, of course, a similar look, because that's how I sculpt things out of clay.
And you'd call it a spiritual successor.
Yeah, a spiritual successor. Here's Clayman. This is my little Clayman statue. This is the guy from the Neverhood. Yeah. This is the clay animated. This is how I do my clay sculptures. So it's doable, but it's funner just to keep creating new. Like I created Bigfoot Bill, and I'm having fun with that comic. It's higher pay than what I got in games. I get to sit here at my desk and draw while my family's running around me. I get to see my family every day, and you can't do that when you're working on a game.
No, not really. All right, it's that time. It's that time. It's commercial time, baby. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna try and not boomer this as much as possible. This is the first official sponsor of my show. This is the Ridge wallet. Well, it's theridge.com. The Ridge. Oh, I've got a thing that I'll pull.
Start over.
No, we're not starting up. We're doing this live, Doug. We're doing it live. Here we go. Look at this. Ridge.com /for-the-fans. And if you enter the promo code for the fans, you get a discount. It's like 10% off of the wallets or any other products. They do wallets, they do backpacks, they have knives. The backpacks have chargers and stuff in them. Very cool. But let me talk about the wallet and tell you why I got it, right? So here's my old wallet. It has my kids on it. It's cute, right? My kids are printed on it. It was made in China. China. It says best dad ever on the back. Better than Trump. Terrific dad. Really tremendous. But it's I switched away from having a wallet in my back pocket probably 8 years ago. And I've been carrying a wallet in the front pocket. But this is big and bulky. No matter, even if you don't have much stuff in it, it's still big and bulky. But this is what I carry now. And it's you know, a tiny fraction of, it's a half the size, and it's less thick because all this stuff would be in here. And it's great. It's got a money strap, or you can get a money clip if you're a money clip guy. Or
what is that made of? Is it cheap plastic?
No, this one is titanium. They have aluminum all the way up to carbon fiber. I liked the burnt titanium, so that's why I picked that one. And it's got this notch, so when you want to pull out your credit card, like, gonna go just dox my credit card numbers. It's fine. Yeah, you pull out your whatever, and you can go ahead and pull them out. But I don't think I just showed any credit card numbers, so that's good.
They just need the CSV.
Yeah. Okay, good. I didn't. I had to double check.
You said you wouldn't boomer it up.
Well, that was not much of a promise. Also, these are RFID blocking panels. That's why they're a little thicker. So people can't, if you have one of the chip cards, they can't scan your chip through your wallet. But yeah, it's the Ridge wallet. Go check them out at theridge.com. They have cool products. And you can get a 10% off discount for this. So if you want to buy one, use the code, right? And then they'll like me and make me do more of these.
For the fans. The code is for the fans.
Right.
This is how we support Nick, because man, people we want them throwing more commercials this way. We want to get them back on. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. That's what I want. Actually, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I have turned down a couple different sponsorship deals because they were not really products that I liked. The Ridge wallet, when they reached out to me, I had actually been about to purchase one just by happenstance. They sent me a thing and said, "Hey, we'd like to advertise on your show." I commend them for it because I know there's a lot of people, including Lagavulin, and I know I'm responsible for the purchases of a lot of Lagavulin 16, and those giant cuckbags said I drank irresponsibly on the show. But Ridge did not do that. They were here. I don't know if this
Ridge supports your drinking.
To Ridge. No, you know, I just commend them for supporting a show like mine, which revels in joviality, free speech, and doesn't sit and pull punches for the sake of some sort of culture. They didn't ask me to say any of that, and they hopefully don't disagree too hard. But I hope they are supported for supporting guys like me. And I can't tell you who else, but they've reached out to other creators of similar veins, and they support other people that you guys probably watch. They do. And so that's a pretty cool thing that is out there. So here's
to the Ridge.
Yeah, here's to the Ridge. I'll drink a sip of my Texas whiskey.
First commercial ever. I'm doing my Tennessee whiskey. Here's to the Ridge. Tink.
Tink.
For the fans.
For the fans.
For the fans.
So next time I do one of these, I'll show you guys the backpack. The backpack with the built-in like charging block and stuff. It's pretty cool. I'll show you that next time. But the wallet is their flagship product. They have like a whole bunch. They have like 30,000 5-star reviews, and I think they've sold 500,000 of them since it was a Kickstarter product, and they did really well. So there you go, guys. That's the ad read. So thank you.
You did good.
Well,
I'm proud of you.
All right. It's only a matter of time before I have my LA chops.
That's right.
Selling ad spots.
If you get 800 charges on your credit card in the next hour, you'll know.
Yeah, no kidding.
For the fans. For the fans,
exactly. Yeah, that wallets, they are like 70 to 115 bucks, depends on the kind you get. But I'll tell you, like I said, I use mine constantly, and have. The only weird thing is not having a giant wallet in my pocket, so which is a positive.
It's bad for your back to have a giant wallet. That giant meaty wallet in your back pocket. It's bad for your back. It'll screw up your posture.
Potato, the wallet's holding cash right now.
Yeah, look at that one.
It's got money in it, and you can get a second clip if you wanted to. You could have a strap and a clip if you want, but
oh my, that's suggestive.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's enough wallet talk. Let's get back into the chats, and then I want to ask you about. Oh, we'll talk about the grift in a second.
Yeah. I want to hear all about your scam.
It's not my scam. It's someone else's very legitimate non-grifting campaign to crowdfund something that they should pay for by themselves, if you ask me. But
of course,
we'll get your opinion on it. Magnus Genesis says, just got the opportunity to back Earthworm Jim. So excited. Hey, thanks, pal. Texan83 says, that's it. Nick has finally sold out. Time to stop watching. Also, this is to buy Doug some Wendy's. Do you like Wendy's?
They found out that I worked at Wendy's in high school, and I've stepped into that place twice since 1983 when I worked there. What
did you get the last two times you went there?
Probably like a Baconator burger, but I try and stay away from there. It gives me the willies.
I pretty much only eat Wendy's fries and Frosties. Vanilla Frosties. I don't like the chocolate ones.
Yeah. They expanded that one. They should have just kept it normal Frosty. Their fries are good. I just don't. It just creeps me out. It was like the most degrading, weird outfit. They used to have the little flat hat with the blue and white stripes on it. It was just dork.
I'm picturing you in it now.
I was King Dork. So that guy out there is tearing into me right now, going straight into my core. I'm going to curl up on the ground in fetal position.
He brought
up Wendy's.
He cut you deep. He cut you deep.
He cut me. Real nice audience, Nick.
Ryan Mercado says, did you see that GoFundMe that Greg set up for $1,000? What GoFundMe are you talking about?
Is that the non-grift? Is that the non-grift?
I never thought he would e-beg for money just to pay for the costs associated with applying to be admitted to the Texas bar. So here you go, Doug. Let me paint you a story. You paint stories, now I paint word stories. Greg is this lawyer in North Carolina who has been vocal about the case, Vic Mignogna's case, and specifically anti-me and anti-Ty, saying that we have no idea what we're doing, which is weird. I'm not running the suit. I'm just talking about it. But saying that Ty and his firm are the worst lawyers he's ever seen. Completely incapable of doing anything. They must be bad at their jobs. Okay, so that lawyer.
Who can say that about Ty? The nicest lawyer.
I don't know. Apparently a penis-shaped man from North Carolina.
Yeah, he's and
I use man loosely.
Well, he's penis-shaped, so goes together.
He's phallic. Okay, Doug, how much Twitter have you done on your biggest Twitter day ever? The most Twitter you've ever done? Like, how many tweets do you think you did?
Oh, maybe, I think I've done 20.
20. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to verify this. At Doug TenNapel.
Yeah.
And here we go. We're pulling this up live here. I'm gonna
give me my worst.
Oh my goodness, you lying scammer.
No, 20.
Yeah, no, 75.
Well, 75, 20.
On July 7th, you had 75 tweets. Now this counts with
Wait, that was yesterday?
Yeah, every reply, every retweet.
Yeah, but I'm retweeting people who pump my campaign. That doesn't count as like you.
No, it's okay, Doug. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just going off
Your Honor.
No, you know what? You've answered the question. We're going to move on. I'm asking the questions here.
Leading the witness, Your Honor.
Your Honor, will you please tell the witness to shut his mouth and let me answer? Let me ask some questions.
Sorry.
Okay, so 75. Although your average, your daily average is 39, and like I said, that's going to include retweets. That's not actually that many. Although it's about double what I do, Doug. You got to get down on my level. You got to get down.
That's
on my
bad.
level.
Yeah, I agree. I'm ashamed.
You should be. Okay. What would you say is an unreasonable amount of tweets per day?
75.
I was gonna say, I bet before I pointed out you had 75, you would have said somewhere around 50. But
I mean, 100 is safe. 100 is safely bad.
Yeah, 100's a lot. Like that's a lot of tweets.
Yeah.
What if
safely bad.
What if I told you this guy averages 185 tweets a day?
Yeah, that's a problem.
What if I told you for a while he was averaging 390 tweets a day?
That's obsessive compulsive.
That's a lot of tweets, right? That's
Yeah.
a lot of tweets. So anyway, this guy is the guy who's critical of Ty, very critical of me. And his name has almost douche in the spelling of it, which is a little bit embarrassing for him. He set up a GoFundMe. So he's a North Carolina attorney, and he set up $1,000 GoFundMe today to get licensed in Texas, to apply to the State Bar of Texas, quote unquote, for the lulz. So now what would, I'm trying to figure out the definition of grifting, because I am apparently a grifter for asking people to support Vic in a campaign where I have stated over and over that I don't get anything for it. I get $0 from the campaign. To me,
grift is like the 3-card money guys are grifters.
Yeah.
Right? They pickpockets are technically grifters. Poker cheats are grifters.
I can't. What about funding something that is entirely self-serving? Like, because that's what he's doing. That's what he's using GoFundMe for, right? He is funding his bar admission, his professional licensing requirement, quote unquote, for the lulz, to allegedly help, not with this. He's very careful in his GoFundMe. He does not say he will be helping with Vic's lawsuit on the other side, but lawsuits like this one is what he says. So he's not even claiming that he's going to get licensed and help these people, which this explains why he would get licensed in Texas. Because a lot of people asked me, well, why wouldn't he just go pro hoc vice and get waived into the case? I said, I don't know what he's doing. He's a weirdo.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. They don't want him. They're going, dude, you tweet 300 times a day. When are you going to work on the case? Even if it's pro bono. That's
a darn good question. So apparently, though, that's his plan, is to get licensed in Texas for the lulz. But it's completely, this is the weird thing. To me, it's completely self-serving. He's taking $1,000 for himself that he should be able to fund his own professional expenses. This is a tax write-off, right? It's a professional license. You can go ahead and get it and write it off on your own taxes. It has no business expense to him. He's taking money from people to do that. That would be like me, in a weird way, crowdfunding a plane ticket to an anime convention to go do coverage of it, right? That's nonsense.
That's a grift. Because he's using slime words too to look like he is advocate. We don't know that he's going to advocate for these kinds of cases. For all we know, he's going to pass the bar and he's going to advocate against them.
You won't even have to pass the bar. That's the thing. Texas has a reciprocity, as most states do, reciprocity, where if you've been actively practicing for in Texas, it's 5 of the last 7 years, I believe. If you've been actively practicing, and all that means, for those of you out there who are curious, it just means that you maintain your law license. It doesn't actually mean that you remain in good standing with your continuing education, stuff like that. It doesn't actually mean that you have active cases, although he does have some active cases, so that's fine. I don't want people to get wrapped up on this idea of actively practicing law, as in you have to show them like a list of court cases that you've done. You need to maintain your good standing.
There's plenty of reasons to smack this guy around. That isn't one of them. So we're not looking for just any reason to smack a guy around, because that'd be that's fake. That's straw manning a guy. We don't do that.
Right.
When I imply that he's a grifter, I wouldn't just pick an easy argument like that one, because that
I could
give
not
him credit.
I could not imagine crowdfunding a business expense. I mean, to me, that's a little offensive.
Yeah.
In my professional, personal opinion.
Like send my family to Hawaii.
Oh, and importantly, I haven't crowdfunded anything. If I were going to crowdfund something, there would be a product attached to it that you would get. You would get a tangible result. If you guys ever see me crowdfund for like something that you don't get something in return, stop watching, because I'm gone. I'm gone, and I'm not coming back. Like, that's a bad sign. And I will say that candidly. If you guys ever see me like, well, I need you to go ahead and fund this professional license for me. Why don't you contribute to my GoFundMe? Immediately stop, because that's a bogus thing.
I'd come on your show and call you a grifter.
Please do. Please do. Yeah. Never would I do that. Yeah, I would pay my own business expenses since they are tax deductible. There's no way. No way. How embarrassing.
Would you sell your bathwater?
Yeah. I'd said I'd crowdfund and get you guys a product in your hands.
That's an exchange of product.
We're going to crowdfund a bath for me right now. All right, guys, my GoFundMe for Nick to take a bath. and the backers at the $100 levels get 30 milliliters of bath water.
Yeah. Can we go to the Kick Vic suit and go to the opposition's lawyers and get their tears in a cup and sell those?
There's not enough cups.
The lawyer tears that are just gushing out, which is making it in the Earthworm Jim book.
I'm so ecstatic about that. That makes
there
me
might
so
even be
happy.
a lawyer in heck that looks like you. There might.
Hopefully he's the nicest lawyer.
he will need a wheelbarrow for his nose. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that makes sense. Welcome to my childhood.
Yeah.
They said lay him on his back to sleep, when I was a baby, and they're like, but we can't though. It's dangerous to the neighbors if he turns his head. Their house will get flattened.
That's right. He waves down spacecraft. Yeah, it's a beacon.
Yeah. If he was present in Die Hard 2, all the planes could have landed. It would have been fine. Okay, Richmeister84 says, Nick, today, July 9th, is my birthday. I'm 35. Hey, happy birthday, buddy. It's a good year. 35 was a great year for me. It's when I found out I had a heat allergy. It was one of the hardest years, hardest professional years of my life.
What happens to you when you get a heat allergy?
I can show you.
Is it hot in there now?
Yeah, it's always hot here in the vault. I don't know if you can see this. I'll try and maybe if I just. Can you see these little dots? Yeah. These little red dots.
Yeah, hives.
Yeah, that happens. And it'll get worse the hotter I get.
That's why you live in Minnesota, the coldest place on the planet.
No. Actually, like I said, I developed this at 35. At 34, I ran a marathon. I was running at least 6 miles 4 times a week, 6 to 20 miles 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And was just fine. Then at 35, I went out for my first run of the season. It was probably April, and I came in looking like a biblical leper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, Lady Rackets,
something's wrong.
Something is not correct. Oh, and I also need all of the sandpaper you can find to scratch my entire body because I'm dying.
Yeah, you broke out in hives.
Yeah, it happens. Now when I go to Texas, right, or anywhere down south, I stay in the air conditioning all the time. Hey, you want to eat outside? How hot is it? Over 72? No, I don't want to eat outside.
Does it swell your throat like you get choky, or is it just the external skin thing?
Just the skin thing, thank goodness. It rarely can do the anaphylactic reactions, but I don't have that. That's extremely rare.
You said phylactic. Well, today's his birthday. My birthday's tomorrow. I turned 53.
That's the 35, 53. You guys are like,
we're reciprocals.
Yeah, you're meant to be.
My people.
Yeah. He says, I'd like to let Doug know that I have an Earthworm Jim action figure from when I was a kid. I also remember getting an Earthworm Jim toy from Taco Bell Kids Meals back in the day.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. We did the Taco Bell meal.
Lady Serena Kitty says, draw a cat face.
For you?
It just says draw a cat face. This was a long time ago on the stream. I don't know. I don't know that.
Here, I'll do one right now.
Yeah.
I can do this.
I'll focus on you while I read some more chats while you draw a cat
get in
face.
there. It won't take long.
Where are you gonna draw it? That's not much room.
I'm just gonna
you got a new piece of paper.
I'm gonna do a little.
I was confused as to how you're gonna squeeze it into that space. Okay. While you do that, let me read. Parochial Joe says, thanks for all the great streams, Nick. I'll be getting in late, so I'll catch it an hour behind. I have a question for Mr. TenNapel. Do you have any advice for an artist trying to break into the illustration industry? And congrats on 450,000.
Ooh, the illustration industry is tough. I started as an illustrator. And I got my master's in illustration 10 years later. It's tough because now you're dealing with digital libraries of clip art in competition. So, you got to have the basic skills. I don't mean basic skills, but incredible skills at rendering, anatomy, the way light and color work to make it an illustration. So I would say to break in, work on your skills. And then I would never turn down a job. Like when I did illustration, I've done all the 5 Iron Frenzy album covers. I would do free or cheap album covers because I just needed more work. So that's my big thing and get your work out there. I would put together a website of all your best work.
Do you realize like how much I despise that you're doing this? I hate it.
Someone said draw a cat face there.
I know you did. I can't do this.
Well, no, you can't.
No.
But I can't get 70,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, so shut up.
Well, neither can I yet. We're pushing in on 64 or 65. Pushing on 65.
Yeah, okay, 65. Well, you'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, there you go, Lady Serena Kitty. That was a cat face for you. That was fantastic.
Oh,
thank you. Phil Rogie says, Bigfoot Bill, another run. Is it possible? I think you said something about this next year. You're going to do a different printing or something like that?
Yeah, I'm reprinting Bigfoot Bill 1. It's going to be combined with the making of book. So it's going to be a huge 160-page hardbound book in the new edition. So that first printing that I did, that one is just for the backers who first came into the campaign. The next version so it's the same book, but I'm adding 16 pages to the story. So it'll have all new Bigfoot Bill story in that first book, and it's going to be offered with Bigfoot Bill 2, The Finger of Poseidon, which comes out. We're doing that campaign in January.
People are saying more drawings, but do they not know that they can go and subscribe to Doug TenNapel? And you draw on stream like all the time. You're drawing Earthworm Jim, right?
I bore people to death on my show. I draw so much.
Yeah.
I pencil pages, ink pages. I've written online live. I write script pages for my comics online. So that's my little 12,000 subscriber channel.
Yeah, you guys should check it out.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a cat right now. I've been asked to draw a cat.
Get the camera on. Get the camera on.
I can't do that. I don't have a setup for that.
I want to see you draw a cat.
Oh, it's awful. Here it comes.
This is going to be better than your commercial.
Yeah. This cat looks angry. Everything I draw looks angry.
Because you're a lawyer.
Yeah. I'll give it a hold on. I'm gonna draw a little bit more. I'm gonna draw a little cat body for it.
See, you're nuking me with your cat anatomy now.
Yeah. Well, this cat's holding a glass of whiskey. Oh.
Let's see what you're made of. I love watching people draw. I really enjoy when other people draw.
Oh God, I'm so bad at it.
It brings me at peace. In fact, some of my favorite drawings are really bad drawings of my characters. When people tweet those out, I crack up and I love them.
Okay,
I hate when people draw better than me.
Here you go. Here's my cat.
Oh yeah, look at that. Dude, now listen, that is more entertaining and funnier than what I drew.
Well, you were just asked to draw a cat face. I added whiskey.
You do a little alcoholic cat. I like him.
Yeah, he looks mad because I figured
he does. That's awesome. That's
I forgot his nose. I just realized I forgot the nose.
It's implied.
Well, yeah, there's an implied. It's
how can you forget his nose?
Well, it's self-consciousness, I guess. Like I couldn't draw that cat's nose. What if I made it too big and ruined his life?
That's right. That's right. You gave him a tiny, petite Michael Jackson nose. To save his self-image.
That's right. That's right.
Why
okay.
So much?
Intimidator0108 says, late again, Nick. Lol, can't wait to see what you got in store tonight. And apparently the ghost of conventions past has been caught red-handed, so to speak, in another lie on Twitter. Mordecai tagged you, Tug Hero, and others on it. I retweeted it today. Doug, what was this? This is one of Vic's accusers. You mentioned the grabbing of the butt. This this lady, this is the lady with the jaw the size of the Titanic. Yeah. Says that at a convention in 2007, Vic gave her a hug and grabbed her butt. Yes. Grabbed her buttock. Which I don't believe for a moment that this occurred.
Doesn't hold water. She
says that she was Khan's staff. So he not only was he hugging someone, he was hugging a staff member and grabbing her butt randomly. I'm going to put this out there. I've seen this lady's face. Don't think that's Vic's type.
Not a butt so. I'd quickly grab.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if he had a pattern of butt grabbing, there'd be hundreds of people because he'd go to cons. He'd have all the opportunity in the world. Hundreds of people since 2007 would be coming out going, yeah, I was con staff too. And he grabbed my butt.
Right. I would be. Anyway, so this is one of the people who sent in a sworn affidavit. And guys, there's a reason I haven't read it. It's because you've already heard the story that this person has been blood-throated screaming onto Twitter. I think if you yell at your computer loud enough, it will actually compose tweets. And that's what's going on. That person who's a data analyst. Sorry.
Can you imagine working next to her in data analysis? This factory, at the data analysis factory.
This shrieky harpy was like talking about me, and she's like, he'll learn not to screw with a data analyst. It's like, what? What are you gonna? Don't analyze me, girl. I'm not into that. I got.
Maybe she's analyst because it's like the butt grab.
Listen, the only analysis I need is from Lady Rackets. I don't need that kind of attention from anyone else.
Sorry, ladies, he's taken.
So this person posted a thing about how she is so sick that she has to teach her like 10-year-old niece or something about racism and how the patriarchy or something. And then she says, this is a picture she's drawn. She's way better than these comics gate tools or whatever. This is a picture she drew at 11. And she took someone else, an accomplished deviant artist picture, and put that up. It's obviously not her whatchamacallit, niece.
Sworn affidavit.
Yeah, sworn affidavit, just goes ahead and flat out lies on Twitter. I mean, it's bad. First of all, if you saw the drawing and you're like, oh, a 10-year-old drew that, first they need therapy. This is some like Lovecraftian eldritch horror.
Okay.
Second, you'd go, that kid needs therapy, but also that kid is a prodigy. If a 10-year-old is drawing that, it's amazing. And third of all, you go, wait a minute, that's actually someone else's work. Work.
Weirdos come out. They're attention hounds.
10, not 11. 10 years old. Sorry.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
Yeah,
sorry.
Of course. So I wasn't going to believe you at first. Now I guess you got a point.
Oh, the art is 11 years old. That art has been posted longer than the child has been alive, apparently. So that's even better. Oh, did I lose you, Doug?
No, I'm here.
Oh, good.
I'm just shaking my head in disbelief.
Well, yeah, but when you shake your head silently, the camera doesn't always pick it up, so I didn't know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
here, I'll shake my head loudly. This is rank.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So is the skin on the underside of the jaw that is protected from the sun and the elements and just sits and festers. That is also rank.
Also rank. Fetid under chin skin.
Yes.
Fetid.
Under chin skin is disgusting.
Fetid.
It's really like a normal thing to have skin under your chin, but when you say under chin skin, I'm now
Under chin skin,
revolted.
especially if you have a huge jaw.
Right. Show the picture. I don't want to.
Oh, shoot. Like a giant. Where have I seen that jaw before?
Data analyst.
Data analyst. Yeah.
Oh, hey, I'm hearing something good. Let me pull it up here. We've got maybe you might be pulling a stretch goal here, Doug.
Oh, yeah. Let me see.
This is a good time to revisit this anyway.
Look at that. So every time you go through another 10K, that's another stretch. So we add a new element to the book.
$460,000.
Holy smokes.
So there it is, guys. 465.
Guys, you're amazing. You make me sick. Hey, and I saw someone gave to the Beale Air Force Base level.
That's awesome.
I'm sending every member of Beale Air Force Base in Sacramento, outside of Sacramento, an Earthworm Jim book for Christmas. And so I'm asking my backers to help pay for those. This is purely voluntary. I will send you a signed book. There's 10 books to Beale Air Force Base. So the reason why I'm in love with them is they had me design the nose art to a KC-135 refueling plane.
Yeah, you showed that on stream last time you were on. It was really cool.
Yeah. So thank you guys. These guys are packing that thing out. That helps me out a lot. I'm going to send those books no matter what. But if you guys help pay for them, then that's a way for you guys to show off your patriotism. I appreciate it, guys. That's really it's a very generous donation. Very generous.
Here's that. It's up on the stream. It's $240, and it sends like a whole bunch of books, right?
It's each one sends 10 books to Beale Air Force Base. And it is going to be fun to watch them open those books up for Christmas. You know, that they have to serve over the holidays at the Air Force Base. Many of them will be away from their families, and we're going to give them a great book that's going to make them laugh. So thank you all for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Yeah. So what's the next stretch goal is at 470,000.
Yeah.
Because you said it's every 10 grand. So we'll keep an eye and see how this thing does.
At 470, we're putting gold foil on the making of Earthworm Jim book.
Awesome.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you guys so much. More things to answer. The Crow 751 says, meant to back it a few weeks ago, but had things pop up. Gladly was able to back it on Saturday. Love you and your stuff, Doug, especially your view on book artistry. Makes me think about the illuminated manuscripts.
Yeah. I'm turned on by printing and by paper quality and print quality and having the book be the art form. So there's no digital. That's why I don't do digital. Yeah,
it's the marriage of form and function, right? Is the idea. That was it's interesting. The first place I ever heard of marrying function to form was poetry workshops, and designing and crafting your poem in different ways. For example, if you picking the right words can give you an actual rhythmic poem where you can, this is what rap is based on, right?
That's right.
Like
the syncopation.
Right. There's rap that you ham fist into a tempo or into a rhythm. And then there's words that you can write that create the rhythm. Mm-hmm. And doing that was always a lot of fun. Or there's the visual form of poetry as well. But seeing that come into bookmaking is not that this is new. It's just realizing when people craft the book in a very specific way. And I think Barnes and Noble knows this, right? They have those classic editions that you can buy, and all this stuff is public domain. It's like free property. You could go out on Kindle and get it all for free. Or you can go into Barnes & Noble and pay $20-25 and get a hardbound complete William Shakespeare.
Leather bound, gold leafing.
Right.
To make it beautiful. Like all those books, all the Warhammer books, the handcrafted and kind of the quirkiness and uniqueness of it is what's fun. It's kind of like, the Warhammer guys are really into like the binding or some weird transparency flyleaf they put inside or some fold out map or something. It's like those things cost a lot of money, and that is the artistry of bookmaking.
Right.
It makes it, what it does is it makes it a rare experience versus just downloading digital books where you just kind of look at the story and kind of go through a bunch of pixels. I'm trying to make the book more real by having to be something that you hold in your hands and curl up to or put on the coffee table, or it looks beautiful on your shelf.
And not every book is for that, right?
Right.
Like, because I have a bunch of Warhammer books that look, like this. They got cover art that's nice or whatever. They got a little bit of embossing.
That's still a lot of money. Embossing, and there's a UV shiny transparency, which I have on my books too, and it has a nice illustration. So that costs more than just putting out a plain paperback. I know it's not as big as a hardbound or a fancy something, but it does its job for what it is.
Well, I think in sci-fi fantasy books as a medium, especially, the cover art sells books. I mean, undoubtedly, you want cover art that immediately puts you into the genre, and you'll see that on every sci-fi book. And I think the glossy aspect really makes them pop off the shelf.
Yeah.
But in general. Like I have tons.
I see Ethan Van Skyver in the chat.
Hey, what's up, Ethan? What's up, buddy?
Brother Ethan.
But yeah. So, but not every book needs to be it. But when you have something special, it's a different kind of book. And I'm actually kind of tacky in what I design. When I put gold leafing on, it's kind of tacky, and I think it's kind of funny to do something that is normally like this really amazing, tight, like elf-like filigree. And I just like go in and do like this hammered kind of filigree that looks just, it looks like something that I hand drew. I think it's funny. Okay. Enjoying the crisis. Says, I nearly had a 10-year career destroyed by false allegations after I received a professional award a coworker was hoping to put on post-grad apps. Thanks to you, Doug, and Vic for fighting back. I've backed you all. God bless. Hey, thanks, pal. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thanks for backing Vic Kicks Back, because really it is kind of a fight for all of us, that all of us who've had any kind of these unfair woke accusations. Some of you will not come across that in your lifetime. This is a way that you can join the fight and help someone else out.
Right. Nova Zero says, have you heard Greg Douchit has that's douche it, not douche it. Douche it has a
How's that better?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess
it's
like they're both affirmative commands.
Yeah.
Either you go douche it or you go do shit. One of the two. But he's telling you to rinse it out with water, I guess. Has a GoFundMe to try and pass the bar so he can save Kick Vic. Oh no, guys, we're gonna lose. No. Okay, time to add to Vic's GoFundMe. Hey, thank you for that. That guy over there says, Doug, I hope you know the fleshlight comment just got filed with Kick Vic court documents. Nick, you're a greater lawyer than I thought. You just got someone to say, yes, Judge. I go to the store to buy 9. What a great start.
I go to buy 9 fleshlights. I did not know what I was saying, Your Honor. I was under the influence of ignorance.
Yeah. Ethan will be happy to know that you go to Costco and buy fleshlights in bulk. Just so
I didn't know what it was.
That's what you said when you walked home with the box. Honey, I didn't know what these were.
Don't do that. I did buy 9 bottles of douche.
David Ochoa said, I had some money to burn, but that be a waste, so I'll give to the Indiegogo for a book I won't burn. Stay awesome, Doug. There you go.
You do not want to burn these. You might want to sell them on eBay, but you don't want to burn them.
Yeah. Seymour Butt says, the user Macho Man Tranny Savage. Excellent, sir or ma'am. That's it. The Macho Man. I think it should be the Macho.
Man.
It should be the Macho Man Tranny Savage.
Macho Man.
Did you ever see that video of the transgender person in the GameStop?
Yeah.
Like picking
Screaming.
up cars and throwing them around.
Yeah. Raw. Yeah.
It's ma'am.
It was impressive.
My name is Heracles.
My name is Heracles. It's ma'am.
DCV Titan says, Nick, I think you are a grifter, not with Ty or Vic, but with Casey to make your show more interesting and cuck Ron. I'm just wondering what his cut of the super chats is. Also, just backed Earthworm Jim. I'd love to have Casey on this show. Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Thank you for backing the book. That's cool. Appreciate it.
Very, very much appreciated. Brian Dewig says, and EA just recently complained they don't understand why people see them as evil. So there you go. That was a response to your neverhood.
They're the Google of video games. Yeah.
Someone says my name is Testicles. Oh goodness.
It's Testicles.
Dark1005 says just decided to throw in and get the signed Superfan edition of the Earthworm Jim comic. A lot of nostalgia for the game, so I thought the least I could do is chip into the creator, if a little more than 20 years late.
It's very kind of.
I think it's right on time.
Yeah,
personally.
Wizard's never late. Yeah. I'll take it now because I'm a much better storyteller now than I was 20 years ago. So I was kind of spared of just kind of barfing out the first Earthworm Jim story I'd have come up with back then. So
you might have ruined it all.
Yeah, it would have been terrible. You don't want me writing my own story 20 years ago.
Yeah. I wouldn't want me writing a story 20 years ago either. I read them.
Yeah, it'd be like me hiring you as a lawyer 20 years ago. You'd pity me.
Well, before then, when I was a writer 20 years ago, when I was 17, writing let's see, crime drama fiction in high school. And
now the 17-year-olds are writing 300 Twitters a day, 300 tweets a day.
If I wrote today in high school what I wrote when I was in high school, I would be arrested. Yeah. I can almost promise you. Every one of my stories had like tons of murder and sex and death and violence in it. It was great. Yeah. They're all bad. They're all bad.
Children's stuff. Would you have passed the bar? Can they pull the bar from people who wrote too many weird tweets or something? Has that hit the bar yet?
No, because Greg Doucette still is licensed. If he wrote too many weird tweets and that was disbarment, he would have been disbarred. Well, they would have had to go back to pre-Jesus times because that's how far back they'd have to go
to find something stranger.
Yeah, they'd be Old Testament. Because like his tweets would have inverted him into a negative reality of time flow.
Bizarro.
Yeah. It's that guy's a mess. Seymour Butt says I drive big trucks for a living. A wallet hurts after a couple hours in my back pocket. You gotta have a front pocket wallet. Yes, you do. And I'm telling you, this is a great one.
TheRidge.com for the fans.
Yeah, ridge.com/for the fans. Check it out. I know they're a little pricey and they're worth every penny. They're well constructed. And the other thing, like I whatchamacallit? What was I gonna say? I lost it. It doesn't matter.
I'll take over. Look, guys, this is a man item that you carry with you every day. You don't want some cheap knockoff thing going in your pocket, going into the intimate place. It is not it is a classy thing to buy a decent wallet. That's all.
Oh, and the other, I've remembered what I was going to say.
There you go.
It forces you in the best way to get all of the crap you don't use out of your wallet. I mean, that I can't say it any differently. Here's my old wallet, and there's a bunch of stuff in there that stayed in there because it's pointless for me to have with
bunch of receipts
with me. Receipts, cards, like membership cards that I would only use once a year type things. Stuff that I just don't need just stays in there. And
if I 2 credit cards, a medical card, and a driver's license.
Hey, that's
and your money clip.
I've got an attorney license in mine too. But yeah. But yeah, I'm with
you. Do you have your journalist license?
No. And if you try and come after it, you'll be swimming in the bottom of the lake with my guns.
Yeah, sir, where's your journalism license? With IO9.
They should give those out. And by they, I mean I should give out journalism licenses because I'm the only one who could decide adequately.
Then go to Kotaku and pull their card.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm going to pull your card, son.
Jason Mazer says, love the show. I've had my Ridge wallet for over a year and I love it. Also just shipped some Earthworm Jim to Beale Air Force Base. Got to support my local military base. Hey, there you go.
Oh, thank you. That is so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah,
I got to meet all those soldiers and stuff. I'm telling you, they are our brightest and best, man. And big Earthworm Jim fans. These are all like 22-year-old kids flying all those planes around.
It's crazy when you think about military and sports.
Yeah.
Those two fields where people are so young. Military, it's like a bunch of simultaneously the most disciplined, like 22 to 25-year-olds you'll ever meet, but also the rowdiest. Like when the lights go down, they party, but simultaneously disciplined and accomplished and effective.
High adherence to an honor code. So their job is to go and break things. But that would be no good if you just raised a bunch of barbarians. But they have among the highest respect and honor code I've ever seen. These guys are, when it comes to rank and when it comes down to doing their job and taking it seriously, they are very buckled down. Very impressive to see that kind of discipline in a kid.
Right. And then
and they come in as slobs, by the way. They don't come in disciplined. They come in as slobs and they become professionals.
The other thing, the sports. I know lots of financial planners and stuff like that, and the ones in major metro areas, one of their big targets is these young kids who are getting these huge contracts, and they're trying to help them. Like, look, you need to save some of this money and invest it in case you get injured or something like that. And these kids are like 19 years old, sometimes down to 18, up to 24. And they're signing a contract with like $1.5 million signing bonus and then guaranteed salary of $400,000 a year. Unless they get injured, then that all goes away. But and they take this money and it's like, well, what are you going to do with it? It's like, well, I'm going to buy my mom a house. I'm going to buy my dad a car. I'm going to buy this and this and this and this and this. And they're like, well, what about you though? And they're like, well, I'm fine. I've got this career. It's like, not for that long. And maybe
not when you blow out your knee.
Right. Maybe even less time if you get injured. And
or go to jail. Oh. Yeah,
and it's crazy to see these people who we wrap our attention into them, right? They're winning championships that matter to people across the globe and stuff like that, and they're so young. It's crazy. I can't imagine it. Blaine 20 says Pixelexia is creeping up to her goal for an art tablet. Thanks to all who have contributed. Donos and commissions may be PayPal to pixelexia1@gmail.com. Commission discussion by email to the same. So yeah, guys, Pixelexia is an artist. She does some cool stuff. You can check her out on Twitter. And her tablet broke. So go.
We're helping an artist.
That's right, helping an artist. And you don't have to just help her. You can actually buy commissions from her that will go towards the tablet. So that's a cool thing. Fatal System Error says Whiskeyers cat's name. I like it. Whiskeyers cat's name. That's good. Brian Dewig says just sent 10 to Beale Air Force Base. People protecting our country deserve it. I encourage any who can support them to do so.
That chokes me up, man. That really chokes me up, guys. You're doing it right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So there you go. So that's for now the super chats I have. I'll circle back to them.
Oh, good.
But I want to talk to you about this idea of artistic liberation from gatekeepers, because you've been talking about the past couple shows how great it is that now you are able to, through crowdfunding, do this on your own full time and devote everything into it without having some corporate nut job behind you screaming that you're not meeting a deadline or you're not doing something. Your deadline is to the people paying you, and And
my backers. So this is creatively the greatest time of my life. Like, it is weird. I don't have anyone who dictates content. I'm fully backed before I even finish the book. And I feel, most of all, usually I feel so exposed working for Hollywood, because all you hear is people making fun of, let's say, your religion and your politics. And now I feel the opposite. I get support from people who, by the way, almost all of them don't agree with my religion and politics, but they believe in free speech, and they believe in, like, just make me laugh, put on a show, and I'll back you. So I don't want to push the victimhood too much, only because it's bad for us, right? To come out and say, like, oh, I was slammed by this studio and slammed by that industry. I don't want to champion the victimhood, because I don't ever want to give them even that much power. This does show that if you go creatively and kind of make your own way, that for the first time in, probably in the last 10 years with crowdfunding's explosion, it has allowed independent guys to do their own thing. So many of us would, with how violent I don't mean physically violent, but I just mean with how vitriolic the industry is against people who have any kind of a conservative bent. Say you're a Trump voter, or maybe you just have some slightly odd worldview. You can directly appeal to your own audience, and it is liberating. So for people who have anything unpopular but you just want to work, this is how it happens. That includes Richard C. Meyer, who has put out his Jawbreakers God King just came out, and he was the one who really started. He started it, and then Ethan made it big. The crowdfunding thing, where,
well, I mean, to be fair, Richard Meyer made it big, and Ethan just made it bigger.
Ethan made it bigger.
Because
Richard C. Meyer did $400,000 on his first book, and it's just it is strangely liberating. I sit here and I don't have to look over my shoulder, and you see how careless I am even on Twitter. Like, I'm running my mouth, and I don't have to sit there and go, I just now lost any opportunity I could ever have. Now it's like, if I lose the opportunities in Hollywood, I still have my backers. I'm going to give them a book. I'm going to put on a show, and I'm somewhat. The career is protected. It's the same thing with people. When people give you super chats, that is like a Teflon against people who might try and starve your income.
Yeah, and they do. And they do. And apparently I'm bad for making fun of them when they do it. I have found that out.
Yeah, you're just a free speech guy on the net, and you're the biggest threat. You're all in their head. You're what they obsess on. They watch everyone. They have to do research by watching every minute of your show.
I know, and
you might say something.
I very much appreciate their viewership and patronage.
I don't think they're giving you any super chats, but they're paying for advertising.
I get a fraction of a penny for each one.
Yeah, so you've given them no money, and they're at least giving you some money. There's some satisfaction in that.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about that? Someone was criticizing me because a guy sent a guy who I don't even know if I've ever interacted with this person on Twitter. I can guarantee you I've never met them or consciously known who they were. They sent a bar complaint against me, trying to get my license removed because apparently not, and I don't think they even said I did, but somebody who follows me made fun of them on Twitter. So because of that means that I don't get to work anymore, according to this person. Yeah. And so I just read their bar complaint on stream, and that was, well, not according to these very, very concerned what did someone call it? Dependopotamus. Called this guy Dependopotamus. Okay. But not according to him. It was the most morally reprehensible thing I could do, apparently.
How does that work with the bar, though? Is there like a national bar they appeal to, or is it like a state bar?
It's state by state. In Minnesota, it's the Lawyers Professional Responsibility Board. In some states, the Bar Association themselves, they police the lawyers. Here, the Bar Association in Minnesota is strictly a professional organization that membership is voluntary and optional, and it doesn't. They have nothing to do with the disciplinary action. Ours is handled through the judicial branch specifically, which has appointed a lawyer's professional responsibility board.
And could there be a woke problem there ever?
It's theoretically possible, but every complaint that I've gotten, they just said, we're not even going to investigate this. So, yeah, because they're like, are you in a lot? Like, is he representing you or is he representing someone else? Is their first question. And if not, if I'm not representing the person, then my conduct outside of the practice of law has to be criminal, and not only criminal, but it has to implicate my ability to practice law. So it has to be like a criminal,
like perjury,
falsehood.
Like Clinton perjury.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Something like that has to happen, which good luck. I don't have any intention to perjure myself. But yeah, so these people think mean words on the internet, which interestingly enough, in this guy's case, weren't even directed at him. It was apparently enough for me to, they believe, to be comparable to what I should suffer for perjuring myself.
And they would have loved over your comments to have you disbarred.
Oh,
that's
they would love it.
That's what their goal was.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing that I don't understand. The first go-to of attack of these people is your ability to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's weird. Why not just call someone like a fat moron and move on?
Yeah, it's also strangely, it's materialism, right? They believe that they're above money, like this is all whatever, but they always go after your money because they believe the only way that they can really punish you is by taking away your ability to work. It's because their world is actually, they're completely obsessed with money. And it's based on envy with how much money you have and you make. That's the only punishment they have. They don't believe you're truly punished if you were crying before God and saying, oh, I sinned, or you went to your wife and said, I really let someone down. That doesn't register with them as anything rational or true. To them, they only see evidence of you being punished if they can take your money away. So they always go after your job. They're the materialist.
Yeah, it's weird. And I don't know if that, I guess that's because it's so important to them or something that's what they do, or because they're just so malicious that they know when you take the livelihood away, particularly from men. My buddy Drexel said this, and I agree. When you take away a man's ability to work, you're really attacking. Maybe it wasn't Drexel. It doesn't matter. You're taking away.
Very Drexel-esque.
Yeah, it is. It is. But when you take away a man's ability to work, you're attacking the core of his person. You're attacking him at the same level as you would by going after someone he loves. Was this you that said that?
No. No, it sounds like a very Chad Dad thing to say, though.
Yeah, maybe it was Ty.
It could be Ty.
I mean, it could be Larry. It could be you.
Could be Larry. Yeah, I don't think it was me. I do believe that, but I don't think I said that, if I recall. But I do agree with that you are castrating a man if you take away his ability to provide. Because that's, in some ways, when men come home and there's like, our dads are like workaholics, right?
Yeah.
And some men maybe can't quite express themselves to their family, their love. One way that most men can express themselves is through their work of what they provide. They've always been able to go out, do the work. Look, I may not be the best guy in the world, but I'm going to give you some food and pay for the roof over your head. And they're trying to remove that from you. Like, where am I supposed to go if they shut down our career? Yeah.
Well, now we have a place, right? We're building places and platforms to do that. You're doing it through Indiegogo. Richard Meyer's doing it through Indiegogo. These people would love nothing more than to shut down every Richard Meyer campaign and to make sure that he couldn't have his if they could find out where he worked, they would be flooding that place.
They'd be all over him
with hatred.
And it's why I'm really against boycotts in general. I have a real hard time with boycotts, even against my ideological enemies. Because when you go hit a company, you're going to hit all these people down the line who are just trying to work for their families. And I have a lot of ideological enemies out there. I do not advocate refunding campaigns, going after their businesses, fellow comics creators and stuff like that. I And I know that some of the things that I've said, some people have taken that and they've gone and refunded something. That goes way against my values. Is I just think, you buy a product and you separate the product from your politics and you don't go after someone's income. It really is a way you're trying to castrate a man and you're cheating at that point. You're trying to win an argument by peer pressuring someone, by taking his income away. And that's how I've always felt by the left when they come after me. They're trying to, what am I supposed to do? Change my religion? Because I won't change my religion if you take all my work away. I won't change.
Right.
You can change my religion by telling me the truth and convincing me. You cannot convince me by taking work. If anything, you'll redouble the fight in my belly and make me work even harder.
Well, they read 1984 as an instruction manual for good. And so they don't, when they see that, no, if you lean on a man hard enough, he will eventually say 2 + 2 is 3 or 5 or whatever you want it to be. Yeah.
And everyone at some point on your own time, you should look up the YouTube of that final scene in 1984 in the movie where John Hurt has the cage on his face and the big brother always knows what you're most afraid of. So in that case, he was afraid of rats.
Yeah.
And they had the rats in the cage and he's going to lift this panel up and the rats are going to come and eat his face. And they have his girl there, his woman there. And when they're about to lift the panel up, and he says, it's not enough that you merely tolerate Big Brother, you must love him. You must love Big Brother government. And his words are haunting. And it's a warning to all of us. He yells out, take her. Do her first. He sells out the woman he loves.
Yeah.
And he's the hero of the story, by the way. And what Orwell is saying is, if you break a man enough, they will turn on their friends. And it's why I'm so into loyalty among friends, where you just flat out, there's a bottom line where you just turn your back. You don't turn your back on each other. You're always rooting for them. You're always trying. You're always working for them. And anyone who goes disloyal like that on me, you start to find out really quick when you're in the heat of things, and it costs, like if it cost you your show, I know you wouldn't turn your back on me. It could cost you your show.
Well, let's not be too hasty, Doug. I
know what you're made of. I know you're cracking a joke, but I'm just saying, I know there's certain people out there. Those are the people the only people I feel comfortable with. And my backers that way too, because a lot of my backers take shit for backing my stuff. So it's just, I'm really into true loyalty, not like mobster loyalty or like fake man loyalty, but like actual loyalty. When I see someone take a hit for me, and especially people that disagree with me are the ones I'm most moved by. That's what 1984, that peak thing is about, is what is your price to get you to change what you believe?
Yeah, and that was the key. I didn't watch the movie, but I read the book, and I just remember it was, he said it. He said long ago, he accepted their things and was saying it, and he says, but you don't believe it yet. You have to believe it. And as you said, you have to love the party. You have to love them.
You must. They don't just want your tolerance. They want endorsement. And that's the thing that hackles my freedom of speech thing, where I'm just going, no, you can burn everything down. And I'm not going to bend one knee. You can convince me or you can go to hell.
Yeah.
Is the way it works.
Absolutely. Let's do a quick check-in on Earthworm Jim.
Where are we at?
I don't know.
We've already blown away my expectations. Now I don't care what they're raising. See, they've already blown me away.
Don't say that. We're at 462,761. So
nice, guys. Thank you so much. That's a huge help.
You guys have been phenomenal, and every dollar towards this book makes a better product as well. That's the other cool thing about this crowdfunding, is we get control over what we're making to at a point where there is like, how do I put this? Who publishes comic books?
Image Comics. I have my comics usually published by Scholastic and Image.
Okay, so if Image is going to make a comic book, they're not like, well, we're going to make this comic book, but you know what? If we sell this many, or if we raise this much, then we're going to make the comic book a little better. They just have a book and they make it. And that's it.
They put a tiny little margin up. I blow the hell out of my margins when I get money in. It goes right on the page. I see Cress out there too. Hi, Cress. She's a friend. So it's fun to just pile it on and be obscene, where people pay $25 and you give them I want them to open that box up and just be like, Christmas. There's a free fold-out poster for everybody, a 2-foot by 3-foot poster. And by the way, backers come to me and go like, oh, great campaign, good job. And I'm like, no, you did this. You. It sounds like I'm patronizing, like I'm doing a giant marketing plan. If you think about it, though, every dime is pushed to me by someone who trusted me with it before they got anything. And they're only going to do that once. If they open that box up and they're like, blah, blah, I've probably lost them for life. Yeah. So my goal is to put on the biggest show they've seen for what they're giving. Yeah, and I think I do. I think I do good.
I think you do. I think you do well.
I think I do good.
Oh, come on. That's but your good is merely filthy rags to the righteousness of the Lord.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're those of us who are believers, we know what's rolling around in our heart. And we would never call ourselves morally good.
No, I would call myself specifically and delightfully wicked.
That's right. We're trash. We're trash. We're trash, but we're saved. We're saved.
Goober Gabber says, Nick, please stop brainwashing me into voluntarily giving you money. Also, just wanted to say to Doug, he has a very pleasant voice to listen to. Any dollar that goes to the two of you is $1 less available for the Harpies. Thank you. Thank you.
That's good.
Well, let's see.
What do you think about that, Nick, there's so much now voting with your income. What do you think about that?
About voting with your income? Well, I think that's...
What part of it troubles you and what part of it are you okay with? How's that?
It troubles me that it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. It works for you. It works for me. It works because, my show's a business. I have backroom bootleg boomer analytics that I do, and I try and gauge, what captures people a little bit and what keeps people interested in the show, with viewers, with super chats and all that stuff. And I try and deliver content that people want to support. I really do. And so I take note when shows do well. I take note when shows don't do as well. And when people vote with their wallet, it influences me very much. I know the same thing with you, at least to some extent. You probably learned a lot of lessons from Bigfoot Bill, and
absolutely.
You're putting that, taking that experience and putting it into Earthworm Jim.
It's so small and intimate works,
right? But when you get to these larger bloated platforms, I mean, YouTube's a great example. How do you defeat the YouTube censorship beast? You can't.
It's so big.
There is no vote with your wallet. What, you go to DLive and watch lower quality most of the time content because you're not getting your major producers. Now, that doesn't mean that your show that you like to watch on DLive is of lower quality. I'm talking about the overall library of things available. Same with
the DLive brand doesn't have the variety that the YouTube brand has.
It doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't. And so until you get everybody on both, you can't really vote with your wallet because YouTube can outcompete DLive. They just can't.
That's right. And the same thing with like Nike with Kaepernick thing.
Right.
Controlling that they remove the Betsy Ross flag shoes. A whole lot of people can boycott them and they can't tell if it was caused by their wokeness or if it was just a down quarter. I think the Super Bowl is starting to hear from the fans that they didn't like the lack of knee bowing and stuff like that. But unless it's everybody, they're not going to hear it.
Right. And these monolithic properties like the Super Bowl. I mean, I hear so many people talking about how the Super Bowl is trash. They don't like the ads. They don't like what the NFL is doing. But it's like their bottom line isn't really taking that big of a hit. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And a huge part of it is that a lot of their bottom line doesn't come from ticket sales and TV sales directly. It comes indirectly through advertising. And that those advertisers, that's adding that insulated step with the prestige of something like a Super Bowl adds years of wallet impact to be felt, because they won't know. I mean, we're talking unless half the fans don't watch or something crazy.
Yeah.
They won't even monetarily feel that impact in the first year. They may feel it in the second, maybe by the third, if they haven't rehabbed themselves or if people haven't lulled themselves back into some, into just, well, but I watched the Super Bowl though.
Yeah, like it's shocking how conservative the Super Bowl football game is. And it's shocking to me how woke and left-leaning all their commercials are. Like it's so divergent from the audience they're addressing. These preachy, stupid commercials. I'm just going, everyone hates what you're doing. The majority of this audience resents it.
Yeah. But who watches the commercials? It's
I do.
Do you watch the game?
Yeah.
Okay, so you watch the game. I know a lot of people who just watch the commercials. Let me correct that. I know a lot of women who just watch the commercials and don't watch the game. I know a lot of people who don't care about football. The commercials have become their own entity in the Super Bowl. It's
all my military friends will not watch the Super Bowl anymore. All of them.
That's crazy. I watch the Super Bowl to the point of someone has invited me to a Super Bowl party and I go eat.
Yeah, me. Oh, that's my thing I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Is to me, the Super Bowl is like the national holiday where we get to eat like little pizza rolls and bean dip and just, it is like the trash food. I'm way anti-carb. On Super Bowl day, I get to eat any carb I want.
Yeah. You get to eat all the carbs.
Donuts. I just do everything. I go completely crazy. I eat myself sick on the Super Bowl.
But I think voting with our wallet's important. But the main thing I would say is this is weird. It's less important to boycott large companies to try and influence their decisions. I think, if you're compelled to do that, do it. I'm not down.
Definitely. I would never say.
Yeah, I'm not downplaying the power of your purchase, and it does matter. But what I'm saying is I think the more important thing is to support the places where your money will matter directly and will buy you that influence. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you go to a guy like a Richard Meyer or Tug with Littlest Umbrella, and you say, I like this, I want this.
Huge impact.
Yeah, massive.
That's a huge impact. 1,000, probably 1,000,000 times more of an impact than against a big company.
Right. You give a guy like Tug $100,000 on a book, you're gonna get. I would assume you're gonna get a second book. You give Image $100,000. Well, I mean that would actually probably be their biggest selling book of all time. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Walking Dead, no, they get big numbers on.
I'm just joking. I'm taking pot shots here. No, but you give Marvel $100,000 on a one-time book. That doesn't guarantee that they're going to make another book. I mean, they might not. Depends on how woke the artist is.
Yeah, but a guy like Tug or a guy like Richard C. Meyer, I mean, it means much more to them. You buy that book and you're really casting a strong positive vote. Yeah. To help a guy out if you're into what he's into, then that's a big, big yes. And I felt that on my campaigns. It is a huge confidence builder. Usually you're used to just fighting this fight and there's no reward. And then suddenly there's a thank you and you feel the support. I'm just saying it's rare.
Yeah. And it's something that this is the other sad thing. It's something that 1 million artists will never get because they're stuck in that old model where they think that if they just bring their portfolio to the right convention that they paid to go to and stand in line to the guy that they're going to pay to talk to for 30 seconds. And if they just open their portfolio to the right guy, they're going to get a business card that's going to help them out. And it's not going to happen. for the
It is
majority of them.
not the way to do it. Start your YouTube channel, do your independent business. Even if you fail, you're starting to learn. Because you're going to probably fail anyways trying to get your stuff looked at by DC and Marvel. You're probably not going to, just by all math, you're not going to make it. You do an independent niche thing, and you really can start to carve your own destiny. And that's kind of the fun part of this too, is it's really pioneering YouTube channons, independent comics.
Yep. And I think
rare times we live in, man. It's great.
And I think it's very important to back the people you like.
Yeah.
Not telling you to back everything, by the way. I think that was, if I have to be critical of Comicsgate a little bit, I think they got flooded out with a bunch of people saying back everything that says it's Comicsgate. And then they brought in a bunch of people who were Comicsgate or kind of, and then people felt a communal pressure to back their books. And then when some of them didn't work out, rather than reflecting on the person who didn't create what they said they were going to create, it reflected on Comicsgate as a group.
And that's normal growing pains too. You'll see the adjustment even in Comicsgate, where I think these are better books than have ever been. You know, I mean, we're talking about a year and a half long movement. These are better quality books than I've seen before, and there's less that are being really circulated and promoted, and the rest are kind of smaller guys that are going away, or have a tougher time being funded. And I don't mean just because you're small that you're not good, because I've seen amazing comics that flat out couldn't raise the money. That's just sometimes the way it works.
Everything I saw blew me away because you saw my cat.
Yeah. Well, your cat, dude, you should do that. We need to do a comic of that, of the angry
alcoholic lawyer cat.
Nick, you could clean up. And I don't mean that in a grifter way. I mean that in you would make people laugh and entertain them way. But I think people have to be selective, and I always feel that too, because it's a pretty big gouge to buy the Earthworm Jim book, like, and pay for shipping and stuff like that. That when I see someone, they send me the biggest message that moves me, that freaks me out and puts responsibility on my head, is when they say, "I have to wait till I get paid to back this."
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the people that, and by the way, all this week, I've done 6 days of 18-hour days in a row. Sunday's the only day that I put in a 12-hour day, and that's because I have church to do. But 6 days I'm doing 18-hour days. Those are the people that I'm working for, because I don't want them to ever feel like they're just another number and they're throwing some money. By the way, it's very hard when you start getting 5,000 people to not address them as a block. Right. But it really is much more intimate, where you're giving me your treasure that is hard. You go out and you work hard to get that money, and I want to give them a good return, and I hope it works out. You know, it's like, it's a big responsibility, and it's way more intimate, because when I do books for Image, I have 10 books through Image, 6 through Scholastic, I think 6 through Scholastic, and I don't meet any of my fans. You see a few pictures of some kids reading your books. It's different with crowdfunding, where you learn most of the names that contribute to your campaign. You're way tied to them. You listen to what they say. If someone's causing trouble or heat, in your audience, you care, and that's a big difference. So you do get more than what you're paying for. You just have to pay a little bit more, because we don't have the margins to give people like a $3 comic. Yeah.
I've got a frequent viewer who says he wants to sponsor you to get a table at Bubba Fest.
Ooh, that's tempting, but my problem with Bubba Fest, I would be there all day. Are you going to go?
Yep, I'm going.
I could talk to the Bubba Fest owners, and I could probably get a table.
Yeah. Well, if you want to come.
I know I want to come, dude, but you're going to come to my house instead.
Yeah, I'm going to do that, but I could bring you.
Of course, I can't do it. My problem is I have the money. I have the means.
Well, I mean, abduct you in your sleep.
I don't have yes, you could.
I'll rent a car with a big enough trunk to fit your monstrous self in there.
Yeah, fold me up and just rope me to the top. I don't have the time. Like I would totally blow my Earthworm Jim schedule, which is extremely tight because I'm doing 2 pages a day.
Right.
Extremely tight that there's no way I could do Bubba Fest. And I would love to meet you. I think Yellow Flash and Tug are going to be there. It would be a blast to go. Like that is, and that's a redneck comic convention. That is my kind of, you will not find more grateful, fun audience than that. So it's not that it would cost me too much to go. Like right now, if I have a few hours, I have to go and spend it with my family.
Yeah, I know
can't
that
go
goes.
to Bubba Fest.
And
I do, for those of you guys that can make it, do Bubba Fest, buy books, have all your redneck Comic-Con fun. I saw Dawn Wells was going to be there. Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island, who
she's going to be there. Yep.
Someone tell her hi. She doesn't know who I am, but just say,
oh, she knows, Doug.
There's a giant 6'8" kaiju who's 53 years old, who just loves you dearly. I wanted to go. She's the main one I wanted to meet, was Dawn Wells from Gilligan's Island.
Well, I think I'm going to have the Bubba Fest guy on the show sometime soon here to promote the show, because I'm going to go, and I definitely want to. I mean, I want to support them. They supported Vic, and they did it in a great way.
Yeah.
When people were naysaying them on Facebook or whatever, they basically told them to shove off, pound sand, and then would remove them from the page.
Yeah.
Because they didn't need that nonsense in their life.
Yeah.
And that guy, he's cool. He's cool. I like him. I think you'd like him too.
Talk to that guy, and if they have some kind of a catalog that they're printing or some kind of a con, artists posters or something, I would be glad to contribute a drawing to that.
Sure. I'll ask him.
I can reach out, or you can reach out, but just tell them I would be glad to contribute. If they haven't printed it yet, I'd be glad to throw a drawing, an Earthworm Jim drawing in there or something.
Yeah, I'll shoot him an email and ask him, and then if necessary, I'll get him in contact with you or whatever if it's a thing.
Any way I can help that show, I would love to, because they rewarded Vic. I will reward them, and I'll give them anything I can. I can't show up, dude. There's no way.
They also have Steven Seagal and Chuck Norris, which I don't know the gravity of Steven Seagal's girth and Chuck Norris's beard. I'm not sure how you can stay away, but I respect your ability to.
I hope the floors are reinforced with that kind of weight, is all I'm saying. I hope the convention center is reinforced.
I've got to bring my, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, Chuck Norris, his friend opened a karate studio across the street from my daycare in Houston, Texas. And my mom took me and my friend Scott over. Scott, he's like 10 days older than me or something like that.
For Walker, 7. Texas Ranger lessons.
This is way before Walker, Texas Rangers. This would have been 1986 or 7. 86 or 87. Transformers. First time, right? This is Chuck at like getting into his original prime. Delta Force. Missing in action. And so we go over there and took a picture with me, my buddy, and my mom and Chuck. And I still have that picture. And my mom used to... Yeah,
you used to take that to him. You're going to take it to him at the convention, right?
Yeah, I'm going to make him sign it again.
Oh, that's going to be good. That'll be good.
She used to keep it on her desk at work. And like this lady walked by who didn't work at my mom's office, and she looks on her desk because it looks like a little family picture, and she's like, "Are you married to Chuck Norris?"
Yeah, why yes. Now his beard is dark.
Yeah, well, that's because there's a lot of testosterone in it.
Suspiciously dark, I'm just saying.
Well, I don't know, Doug. I don't know.
Shouldn't he be like full Gandalf by now?
I don't know how old Chuck is, but I know that clocks stop working around him.
Yeah.
They're in fear.
I'm not saying anything about his age or anything, but I'm just saying that is a suspiciously black, dark brown beard. Like, dude.
Yeah.
Just own it. Just Sam Elliott that thing, dude.
Carlin Youngblood says, "Hey, Nick, this is my first super chat, and I wanted to say thanks for helping Vic and Doug. I just got the Super Fan comic.
Oh, my people.
Me and my older brothers were big fans of the SNES game. So awesome.
SNES game, yep. SNES was big.
David G says, congrats on both of your successes. Hey, thanks. For over a decade, I've been a well-paid software engineer, but I'm fervently working side projects to one day run screaming from my crazy woke industry too. Looking forward to my copy of Earthworm Jim. Awesome.
Yeah,
buddy.
and that's how you do it. While you have a job, just keep building your own thing. And, you got to try. It's a bucket list thing. You don't want that regret looking back on your life at the end of your life going, I shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Right.
It's like, take the dive. Just know that numbers wise, most businesses fail. Many Indiegogo and crowdfunding things don't raise what they want. So don't fear the failure. Failure is another learning experience, but dive in with all your might. And this is something my uncle taught me a long time ago, is just to invest. He goes, just tithe to yourself. He goes, you tithe to God. He goes, tithe to yourself, like 10% of your hours in the day, devote that to your own work, like your own project. Tithe to yourself. Is that asking too much?
It's I can tell you that's tough for a lot of people, depending on the phase of life you're in.
Yeah.
It's valuable advice. And I think that people have to remember to do that. But
even if it's an hour a day, maybe you have a half hour a day. A half hour a day across a year is a whole lot of work hours toward your project while you're working. But you have to be very disciplined and like insane about that half hour a day.
Yeah. And I can tell you as a dad with 5 kids,
yeah,
and that's hard to do. It really is hard to do. For me, I mean, here, you guys are with my 10, it's a little over 10%, but I've managed to marry that to my income, right? So just
to interview you real quick.
Yeah.
So you go to bed late every night. What time does dad start? Does dad wake up and you're in charge of taking the kids off Lady Rackets because she had them from the night before to the morning?
No. Okay. So we're very much a team.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, Lady Rackets had some surgery, so I've been kind of burning both ends. But typically speaking, we both work to get the kids to bed around 9. That's why the show's at 11. Because trying to get the kids in bed around 9 means they're almost definitely in bed by about 10:50.
Yeah.
So we do that.
Like, be quiet. Yeah. No one says a word.
Shut up. There's people watching right now. Shut your mouth.
I'm going down to the vault. I'm going to the vault.
Don't make them hear me beat you or whatever.
I don't want to hear one thing from you. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Then the kids, our kids are very self-sufficient. I've always been a late sleeper. I'm not a morning person. It's a product of the narcolepsy. That's why I stay up so late, because I'm so productive in the morning. I'm
the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. I work better at night. So I will actually stay in bed for quite a while, till late morning. And my kids, if they need me though, dad never turns off, right? If there's a kid who needs me at 2 a.m, 4 a.m, 8 a.m, I get up, I go do whatever they need. And then thankfully I can fall right back asleep. That's the good part of the narcolepsy, and go back to bed. And we now have our oldest son is old enough to like make breakfast or whatever. If the kids need help with stuff, he can do that. And
so your job is to keep Lady Racket sleeping.
Yep, it really is. Keep her sleeping, get as much sleep as I can. And my kids know, before anybody criticizes that, and if you want to criticize it, that's okay. But my kids also know that me sleeping late into the morning and them being self-sufficient means dad gets to stay home the rest of the day.
That's right.
And they remember when I wasn't at home for most of the day, because they're homeschool kids. So they didn't go away for a school day. Dad being home and not being home makes a huge difference in how the day plays out. So
yeah, if you're a dad who makes them lunch or has lunch with them,
right,
you're present a meal, and you have dinner with them, you're present 2 meals. That's more than most dads can pull off.
Right, and I'm very blessed to have that. So dad mode never turns off. People know sometimes because a kid will interrupt a show with a problem and I'll go deal with it, and that's just how it's got to be. But But yeah, devoting the time to yourself is what makes your independent projects something you can do. You can't, even if it's not something you're going to monetize, right? Like if you want to learn an instrument or go learn a thing or write a memoir, you can't do that if you're just happenstance trying to throw a few minutes at it. You've got to discipline yourself out and take some of that time and get buy-in from your family and do it.
Yeah. You got to go insane.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be insane about changing the trajectory of your life, because the default is just kind of, you're going to keep going down whatever path that you've already done. That's the easy. You'll always default back to that. So you have to be crazy, insane disciplined to change even tiny things about your life, tiny details.
Oh, and to my young blood brothers out there, my young brothers and sisters
Funk
out there,
soul brothers,
check it out now.
right about now.
If you're young and you fail, don't be discouraged. You're going to a lot. It's going to happen over and over. And there's a meme out there, and it used to be older. It used to be no one will respect you till you're 40. Now it's about 35, maybe 30. Like, you're going to run into this. And I mean, it sucks and it's stupid, but don't be frustrated by it. Overwhelming majority of young workers out there, you're going to be overlooked and passed over. Use the time where you are that drone and you are passed over. Use that time to improve yourself, and that's how you can salve the feeling of being passed over, even though you're more competent than your peers, for someone, because they might be a couple years older than you. And like if you're my age versus someone who's 23 in a workforce, because I've been there, the guy my age will get the promotion no matter how much better you are at their job than they are. It's just how it works. There's some backwards thinking that says that this person who's older will be better at managing people or networking with other groups, and it's not based on your competence. So you just have to kind of I want to throw that encouragement out there. This is weird.
Get help, but don't put your fate in someone else's hands. Take responsibility for your fate, but do get help.
Yeah, but the thing I'm saying is that if you're working 40 hours a week, and when you got that promotion, you'd be working 50 or 60 because you'd be catching up and you'd be doing all this stuff. You didn't get the promotion. Now budget those hours for you and improve and get to that point. If you're looking for independence, that's how you got to do it.
Yeah.
That's how you gotta do it.
I worked on VeggieTales as the showrunner for 4 years, and it was driving me crazy. I had to create my own thing. So I inked a page a day for 4 years on Newts. This is my book, Newts. So I got up at 4:30 in the morning and I'd pencil a page, and then I would ink it after work every day and then go eat dinner with the family. And I did an entire 3 graphic novels, a trilogy of 200-page graphic novels in 4 years. So I'm just saying, one thing that I did was I moved my art desk into the living room. So where the family watches TV and sits around and hangs, my art table was just sitting there right in the middle of it. And I would draw comic pages, and I could be with my family while I drew.
People don't realize that you did VeggieTales.
Yeah, I was a showrunner of the Netflix/DreamWorks VeggieTales in the House that is on Netflix. We did 152 11-minute shorts in 4 years, and it almost put me in the grave. It was.
This is not the old VeggieTales. Yeah. This is after VeggieTales property got sold to DreamWorks.
That's right.
And then they revitalized it with these short productions.
Yeah, and I wrote that with Ethan Nicole, who did Bears Want to Kill You book, and he works for Babylon Bee. He's one of my best friends. He was a co-writer.
That site is so much funnier.
He's the only staff writer on that site. And then Michael J. Nelson, who's a fellow Minnesotan from Riff Tracks and Mystery Science Theater. He was our other writer. Us three wrote. And voices by Rob Paulson, Tress McNeil, and the classic Phil and Mike, who created VeggieTales, were on the show. So, but that show is just grueling just because of the schedule. We had to do a 11-minute episode a week for 3 years straight.
Whew. That's
year 2, dude. I completely cracked up, like went nuts.
How many times did you cry?
Almost every day. Bizarre crying, heard voices, like heard God's voice. It was not God, but I mean, I heard voices that I thought were God, like weird. The stress just overcame my body, and I completely flipped out. My friends would come up to me in DreamWorks and be like, "Oh, are you okay? You seem kind of flip outy." Go.
Kaz and Jazz says, popping that super chat cherry. Hey, thanks, pal.
Yeah.
Just purchased a Ridge wallet and contributed to Earthworm Jim super fan. Love to you both, and rip my wallet, my Ridge wallet. Thanks, pal.
TheRidge.com for the fans. TheRidge.com for the fans.
For the fans. Use promo code for the fans.
Use promo code for the fans to get more advertising on Nick Rekieta's show.
Mike Hurley says, adjusting your disposable spending can be a boycott. It doesn't need to be loud or anti. Something else. Where do you guys draw the line between working hard and devaluing your hourly rate? It depends who I'm working for. That's my answer.
Because pro bono work, you're not getting paid for that, but obviously there's some value there besides monetary, right?
Yeah, I'm working to. If I'm doing a case pro bono, it's because or even at a deep discount, it's because I believe in the client enough to think that they need the help, right? They need the help, and I can give it, so I do.
Or you spend your show's time and treasure on my book. You spend your time promoting Vic Kicks Back. You're not getting paid for that. So it's something you believe in, where you're getting something else besides money. And I would say the same to every artist is, if you love drawing and designing and illustrating and stuff, you'll do it every day regardless. And every once in a while, there's some cheapy projects you just need to do because it's the right thing to do. You're going to spend your gift and your power or your YouTube reach or whatever on things that you want to promote. And
I'll say, when I was working for Wells Fargo, there was no devaluing of my hourly rate. That ever. It was entirely, I worked exactly my schedule, and then I left because I hated every single second of working at Wells Fargo.
What did you do at Wells?
I was a personal banker, aka a salesman. But they try and lie and tell you you're not a salesman. Because of the stigma with it, but really you're doing high sales? It's a bunch of, at the time that I was hired, they were hiring a bunch of 25, 27-year-old people to be personal bankers. Now, personal bankers several decades ago were actually like kind of a respected job, and they would help you, kind of advise you on your finances and stuff like that. Well, they've taken that and turned it into open accounts, sell credit cards, sell home equity lines. And did you get a commission for each one that you nailed? No, because to me that's crooked. There was it was in a way, it was kind of worse. I wish it was that would have been more pure, at least. But no, you had mandatory daily sales goals, and at Wells Fargo it was 7.5 products a day. So that's a checking account is a product, a savings account's a product, a debit card. Debit card or credit card are a product. An ATM only card is not a product. But in your podunk town, you didn't even have like 7 clients come in the whole day. No, this is downtown St. Paul, which was probably worse. Oh, okay. But no, you open a package, Doug. You get them a checking account, a savings account, a debit card, a credit card, a home equity line, overdraft protection. I'm that sucker walking in every day. That's me. Yeah. And I'm like, I want one of everything. I've got money. So you had your daily sales goals, which you weren't expected to meet them daily, but averaged over, your month or whatever you were. And then if you hit a certain target of loan dollars, then you got a scaling bonus for that month. But it wasn't so pure as you got a strict cut of the loan dollars. Yeah. That's how it works in like a mortgage department. For the mortgage originator, they get a cut of the dollars that are coming in. It sounds like the movie Brazil, like just endless bureaucracy and paperwork. It was horrible. It was horrible. This is a branch downtown St. Paul. You know, you'll have one guy comes in, he's homeless, and the next guy who comes in is the CEO of a major medical device company, and this branch is being run by like I swear she was like a 26-year-old cocaine addict, and who actually had to go on leave from work, I think, to go to rehab. She was suspiciously gone for exactly 6 weeks, and then was no longer able to go out on client meetings.
I already know she's pretty. You don't have to even tell me. I already know she's pretty.
Kind of pretty. She wasn't super pretty, but she was definitely pretty enough.
Yeah, she's pretty
to do that. But you
never seen an ugly, bloated cokehead?
No.
They're women who have a lot of attention because they're pretty, are all the cokeheads. I'm just saying, that's just an observation.
Yeah. It's probably accurate.
Yeah, she's pretty.
But yeah, so it was just a mess. It was run poorly, and they ended up, this was if you guys remember, there was a bunch of lawsuits against Wells Fargo for people getting credit cards and personal lines of credit that they didn't request.
That's right.
That's when I was working there, and I actually was reporting these because people would come to me and yell at me about someone else selling them a credit card that they didn't sign up for. And I was the guy who had to cancel the card or the home equity line or the regular credit line, that these people didn't like realize that they were signing documents for that. It's like, oh, just sign this for your checking account. Suddenly,
that's trash.
Oh, it was brutal. And I was reporting this to my store manager, and my store manager was like, yeah, we'll take care of it. And they did.
By sweeping it under the carpet.
Yeah, they took them down. They would cancel the credit lines, but the store sales worked on generation of credit lines, not on the cancellation. There was no metric for canceled accounts or credit lines. Yeah. The profit metric for the store was entirely based on the generation of money at the time. And so you could whistleblow it all day. They didn't care. It didn't do any good. That's why they got sued and regulated out of their minds.
They got slammed on that one.
Yeah,
they got their pants pulled down and spanked.
And the guy, John Stump, the CEO of Wells Fargo, John Stump.
What a name, John Stump.
Local Minnesota boy. The funny thing is,
worst name in banking, John Stump.
That guy took the fall for Dick Kovacevic, because Dick Kovacevic was the CEO.
Dick Kovacevic isn't much better of a name.
He was the CEO during when most of that was happening. John Stump came into it. And he had to resign as CEO. He stepped down, and he deserved it too. But Dickie K got out of that squeaky clean, retired just in time. Yeah, retired just in time.
No sympathy for bankers, none.
Yeah, nope. I'm not. Especially those. I'm not a fan. Well, man, I've got a bunch of chats to read through. Do you want to do any closing thoughts on I guess stuff we've been talking about before I do that?
Sure. Just to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Do go to the Ridge, get a fine wallet.
Well, that's not what I was talking about, but
I know, but I you gotta pay some bills. Do go to the Ridge for the fans. Do back Earthworm Jim, because I'm going to put on a good show for you. That's a good value. Vic Mignogna. I think Nick and I need to work on our Vic Mignogna bangs. We need to grow out the cool kind of soap opera looking bangs that just kind of hang down politely but elegantly, perfectly frosted.
Do you think you could do a Vic impression?
No.
Not off the cuff, but in general. Do you think
I talked to him on the phone, and he was just the sweetest guy I'd ever talked to. Very gentle.
Yeah, you're a couple octaves lower.
Yeah, I'm a little too. I'm just a spent, burnt husk of a man.
I just thought it would be fun to do Vic impressions sometime.
Yeah. I haven't worked on it, but a couple more conversations on the phone, and I'll be able to nail him. He's so Vic Mignogna. I explained myself. I don't know if I acquitted myself, but we are committed to his cause. That this cannot stand. By the way, the guy that I heard on the phone is not the kind of guy who would fight. So this is him stepping out And it is a big deal when you've been hit so hard and so unfairly prosecuted that you decide to say, I need to fight back. That is someone who we champion. So Vic kicks back. Guys, you got to back him up with that dough. It helps him with his fight. And do go out on Twitter and don't be mean or rude to the other side, but just give Vic a hearty, good job, you go, we're behind you, because he's a showman, right? He's an entertainer, and he responds to fans go, go, go. So give him that. And I told him I'd be praying for him, because I think there's an evil element to this, to tearing a good man down. And by the way, anybody, anywhere, life is unfair, and people can get just thrown into a meat grinder. And I just don't want to be the guy that stands by when some guy gets thrown into a meat grinder, a good guy. So I'm convinced he's a good guy. And that's why we do the GoFundMe. And even if you don't put money in the GoFundMe, the Vic Kicks Back GoFundMe, send him a tweet and say, I just want you to know that I'm behind you. Tell him that. Because in a way, the worst thing to do is to fight and to feel alone. That was me for so long. I felt like I was the only one. And now I've got so many friends that stand beside me that suddenly I don't have that fear anymore. So I still, same fight. I might still just get ground down to nothing, but I know that I'm not alone anymore. There's nothing worse than thinking you're alone.
Yeah.
So.
And for Vic particularly, as I'm sure I mean, these are his friends and colleagues who did it. Who did him dirty. Right.
They absolutely jacked him. People intimate on the inside jacked him.
And there are nobodies on the internet like Han Leia, which is just a frumpy idiot who tried to get him to sign her gay porn. He didn't want to. Then there's nasty, both physically and emotionally, people like Mars Girl, or Nazi Arms Girl, or whatever you want to call her, who tried to slag Vic. And those voices kind of mattered, but the voices that really sunk him were Monica Rial, were Jamie Markey, were Funimation themselves, was that little sniveling chump Ron Toye. Those are the people who really did the damage, because without the credibility of them being friends of his and colleagues, this stuff would have died out.
Yeah.
And make no mistake, I know in public the campaign looked like it was effectuated by Han Leia and Mars Girl, and that's what they're going to argue in court. But the real damage came inside Funimation, and it was not just a bungled HR investigation. It was very much a coordinated job, and if you don't see that, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, but, and they don't care anything else. They're only going after his livelihood. This is materialism. These people are like, we will take away your ability to never be seen again. By the way, he very well could have lost his entire career without you guys valiantly and respectfully fighting beside him. He probably would have lost his career. If Nick didn't set up this campaign to help him out, it really could have hurt him. So this is a way to put your money in, and it's a way to put your support in. And it is important, when you think a guy is the right guy, don't let this guy go down without fighting, and do not fight dirty. That's all I will say, is do not fight dirty. At the very least, he will get strength by you guys going in and saying, I just want you to know, if this whole thing's go down, I'm standing behind you. I believe you, and I stand with you. That's what I think would be really give him strength to fight. That's all he needs is the fandom. And I think the fandom is turning on his side. I think they know him well enough to know what kind of guy he is. There's a couple of bad apples. They're just riding the wake of all these fake, woke accusations that are so easy to make. They're used to the crowd just getting easy support And a lot of these people that are coming in and fighting him, they don't know the whole story, and they don't really care. They came in with their conclusion before they even showed up.
Yep, they absolutely did. And where I was going with all that is you never feel more alone than when all of your friends are the ones who've decided that you don't get to live. And I genuinely believe that the friends who turned on him, who alleged to know him very well, know that this very well could have killed him. I genuinely believe that they know that disconnecting him from his fans could have been a death sentence for him. And I despise that they utilize that.
Yeah. By the way, one of the things I observed, and I've done this at Comic-Cons myself, and I talked to Vic about this when I was on the phone. I go, I notice you're especially kind to the weaker fans, to the girls who feel like no one would pay attention to them, to the men, the boys who are the outsiders. Those are the ones that you're especially attuned to, and you pour your affections on them. I've seen the same thing, by the way, with Rob Paulson. Like if someone in a wheelchair comes up to Vic, he lunges at them and supports them. That is what the fallout of this whole thing is, that this kind of accusation does, is it will end up stopping that a man who is a fan of these people will no longer reach out and hold them. And that was the last thing I said to him is, don't let them take your joy away, and don't let them take your kindness to these people who you minister to away. And that is what they could end up doing. So this is the ultimate fight on the most intimate, tiny level. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with money. Is that this guy does the right thing by his fans, and he builds them up. He has genuine love for them. There is not inappropriate stuff going on. And that ought to help you fight.
Absolutely. Kunami13 Sora says, have we talked about how Greg wants to be a Texas lawyer yet? Or is this not the right stream for it? We talked about it a little bit. Where I think for a lawyer to try and crowdfund his licensure expense is a little bit shameful, personally. Now, someone tried to compare this to Pixelexia asking for help buying a new tablet. I don't compare them, because what Pixelexia will do is, if you pay a certain amount, I don't remember exactly what it is, you're buying art.
So she doesn't want charity. She will work for the money that you give her to earn her tablet. Yeah.
You're buying a sketch or a character creation, or you're buying a commissioned piece of art, depending on the value that you donate. And you got to talk to her about what those are. I don't remember. But you're actually buying a product that she's promising to fulfill as soon as she has the ability to do so with a tablet. This is Greg's GoFundMe is completely self-serving, and he's a lawyer, not an artist who's up and coming and trying to make it. This is a guy who allegedly has his own law firm and thousands of cases, according to him, to work on this stuff. I think that he should do it, and I cannot imagine crowdfunding a license. Now, the only thing I can imagine is if a client wanted me to work in a different state on a lot of projects, and they said, we need you licensed in this state, and I'd say, well, then you need to foot the bill. That's a little different, right? That's part of the business transaction. He's not doing that.
But if I was a grifter, not that this guy's a grifter, I'm saying if I was a grifter, I would open up a GoFundMe to fund my business, stuff that I should be paying for. That's what I would do. I'm just saying if I was a grifter.
He also did a GoFundMe for a CPAP machine.
That's the best detail ever, man.
Finishing.
This just became Cormac McCarthy novel. He funded a CPAP machine.
And the crazy thing is, he overfunded it, right? He said he needed like $2,700 for it, and he kept it open until it was at like $9,300. People called him on it because it was still open and still gaining money. and then he finally shut it down.
Maybe it was the Trump Gold. Maybe it was the Trump Golden CPAP machine. Maybe we got the gold model.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
there
like a stormtrooper helmet.
Yeah.
It's gold.
By the way, the Cuck Lightyear mugs and the Cuck Lightyear stickers are almost done. My art guy had a computer technical issue, but those will be done very soon. Finishing up the super chat says, have the $20, Nick, my friend, for being the voice of the voiceless. I'm giving some to Vic soon once my next paycheck comes in. Thank you, but again, please never put yourself in any sort of financial jeopardy on my behalf or on Vic's behalf. But I do very much appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, back to super chats. Lord Time Lord says Nick needs to cosplay as Q from Star Trek: The Next Generation. William Vanilla says Polar Bear Pete wins the home run derby. Hashtag LGM. Okay. Blink Your Eyes 1400 says thoughts on people licking ice cream and putting it back in the freezer. Oh, that was the do you have Bluebell ice cream in Tennessee, Doug?
Yes, tons of Bluebell.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, you know, it doesn't really have a lot of full-blown milk product in it. I'm just saying.
No, that's probably why it's good.
Yeah. Yes, we have Bluebell.
There's a lady who was
and
caught...
Blue Ball.
Ooh, Blue Ball. The
different vowel, different meaning. Go ahead.
The most anticipated and disappointing ice cream in the country is Blue Ball. Bluebell. No, there was a lady who was caught licking the ice cream. And they pulled. It was one particular flavor. They pulled it all. And she's getting like criminal charges for it.
For licking the ice cream, putting it in the fridge. Is this in response to the girl who did the mouthwash thing?
I don't know, but she like would open up I don't know if it was at the factory or whatever, but she'd like open up a Bluebell container, lick it, and then close it up and seal it and ship it.
Is this crazy. Like an OCD thing that she did, like where she had to do this?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to
curse the Americans with Disability Act, forcing Bluebell to hire that OCD.
I'm just saying, if she was born that way, I don't see how we can judge her. If she was born that way, how can we judge her?
She wasn't caught. They are uploading themselves to Twitter. Oh, so she uploaded herself doing it on Twitter, and then she got...
that might be part of the OCD, is she has to not only do it, but broadcast it is part of her unique identity. And who are we to judge her when she's born that way? And that's how she has to do that. She could do no other.
Do you do that in your house, Doug? Do you just lick the top of the ice cream, put it back in the freezer?
I would do that if I was at your house, and I wouldn't tell you.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm with that. Racket's Antediluvian IT skills says, don't boomer the ad read, Nick. Hey, thanks. I won't. Well, no, I did, I think.
Dude, $200 super chat. Dude, $200 super chat.
AB with a big one. I hope you meant it. If not, make sure you go ahead and... Yeah, I didn't think so. I think that was supposed to be a 2 or a 20. I'm not quite sure.
He was trying to do a $2,000 one. He goes, I shorted you a 0. Let me come back in real quick.
When you send the corrected one, buddy, and I'll read it out. I know how that goes, and I have no... it's happened before, and I have no qualms about it or anything like that. That's right. Whenever I get those big ones, I'm always like, make sure that you meant that. And if not, please get your refund right away. I would hate that you send me a bunch of money that you didn't mean to.
But it would be funny if you just said something stupid.
Well, one guy accidentally sent a $500 super chat in response to like eagle-eyed cherry, a quote about eagle-eyed cherry. It was like 2 words. Yeah. It's like, wow, this guy loves him some eagle-eyed cherry, but no.
Stop it. $500. Stop it. Yeah.
Talbot Link says, need to send Phil from the dollhouse your way. Lol. I don't know who Phil from the dollhouse is. Captain Tarple says, Nick, shout out for your boy God King on Indiegogo. Yes, Richard Meyer launched God King on Indiegogo today. I will talk about it on a different show. I feel like we've got a lot of different shilling on this show, so I don't want to...
too much shilling.
Yeah, I don't want to pollute the shilling. I don't know if Richard will want to come on the show or whatever, but I'm definitely going to promote it at some point.
Yeah.
Because
look up Jawbreakers.
Yeah.
Jawbreakers, God King on Indiegogo. That's all you need to know.
Absolutely. John Albert says, can I get an F for Doug? F for you, Doug. Sorry, buddy. Apparently you're dead.
My respectful people. Yeah.
JG says, thank you for creating Earthworm Jim, comic backed. Andrew War Snowboard says, this could have been you, Diego. Ridge Wallets, Diego being the owner of Lagavulin, the scumbags who shystered me out of sponsorship for their glorious whiskey. Oren says, hey,
we like the Ridge instead. The Ridge for the fans.
Exactly. TheRidge.com.
TheRidge.com for the fans.
Oren says, hey, Doug, what's your process for making comics? What steps do you take?
Work your ass off all night. That's my steps. Work your ass off all night. Write the script, thumbnail it, pencil it, ink it, scan it, send to the letterer, pay the letterer, send it to the colorist, pay the colorist.
There you go. Yunta Kyle says, Doug is a snake. Showed up to Comicsgate and kept confusing it for Gamergate. Then threw all of his Comicsgate consumers under the bus on his exit. Now he's, quote, with Vic. You snake.
Sure.
I mean, sure.
That is all correct.
So all of the Comicsgate consumers under the bus?
No.
How big of a bus do you have?
It's a big bus. I got a ton of Comicsgate people who back my campaign and daily support me and say, you go, girl. And then I have a handful of people who it's their full-time job to attack me and come after me, and I welcome them because you're not going to stop me. And we've raised $464,000 for Earthworm Jim. I'm going to put on a show for great people. There's people, you can't please everybody, and you can't change the internet. And I'm at peace with it, but these people are weird, and that's just that's cool.
There you go.
It's cool. I've had much worse than you, and it's not a big deal. So you go crazy, guy.
Talbot Link says, in wanting the right for due process, it is a responsibility to call for it when others stand accused. That's correct. That's correct. Edgar Cruz says, I am CG and I support Doug. So he's computer generated. So this is a Russian bot.
My CG Russian bots. Yeah. The vast majority of CG supports me. Majority.
I'll thank you, Doug, for that $2 super chat that you sent under your alt account. I appreciate it. Bad Dragonite says, at Doug, merchandise idea, Earthworm Jim toboggans.
I don't get that, but are toboggans a thing? You're in Minnesota. Do you guys toboggan still?
I don't do anything. I try and avoid, I'm allergic to heat, but I hate the cold.
Yeah, so you're never happy.
I'm happy because I have a house that stays well heated and well cooled.
You're allergic to heat, you hate the cold, and you're a lawyer. Is there any other reason? That's like the trifecta to hang yourself.
I think God gave me the whatchamacallit, the heat allergy because he knows that as a lawyer I'll go to hell and I'll deserve it.
That's right. you're allergic to hell. That's why you're a Christian. You're allergic to hell.
Yeah, the trick will be, will I go all the way to the 7th, 8th, or 9th circles where it's cold? That's the good question.
Yeah.
Let's see. As for toboggans, I don't know. That could be fun. Timothy,
I don't even know what one is. So I'm from California.
They're the sled that's shaped like that, right? Or is he talking about hats? Because I think some stocking caps are called toboggans too. I always think of them as the sled, the J-shaped sled.
Yeah, it's the sled. Yeah. It's a toboggan. Too many words. Go ahead.
Let's see. Konami13 Sora says, and Doug, this message is for you. I wanted to tell you how much of an inspiration you are, for how much you fought for what it was that was yours. You, like Nick, gave us hope in a time when there only seemed to be darkness.
Yeah. Where the biggest mistake in the world was that the internet let us find each other.
Guys, I'm pretty sure when AB retracted his super chat that YouTube refunded it. So just so you know, I can't do anything about those. That's why I encourage people to make sure they do the refund right away, because I think after the show ends, it's harder to get it back. But I think when it says message retracted like it did, I'm pretty sure he got his refund. So I hope so. If YouTube ever sends me a thing that says, confirm or deny refunding this, I'll confirm it. They don't usually do that. Streamlabs does. If you send your stuff through Streamlabs, I actually have an active hand in refunding those when they go wrong.
Yeah.
So, but I would do whatever YouTube asks.
Yeah. Or he can email you like 4 links that he wants you to spam that are worth $50 each.
Sure.
He can email you those and you'll make up for it there.
AB is saying it says it's not refundable. Well, whatever I can do to help, buddy. Get on, contact YouTube support. If they need a statement from me, I'm happy to help out. Just let me know. You know my email address, rekieta.rekieta.org. Yeah. Just let me know. I'm happy to help out. I just don't know.
He'll make it right. He'll make it right.
I just don't know what I can do for you until then. Okay. Timothy Reaper says, Josh the Feeder, Drexel the Trap Lover, Doug and his Fleshlight family. You have a lot of degenerates on your show, Nick. Frowny face. That's true. That's true. Mike Check, thanks for the donation. Let's see. Adelwolf says, can I get a birthday shout out? Happy birthday to you, Adelwolf.
Happy birthday.
Still got my Earthworm Jim action figure. Love you guys and thanks for your help a year ago, Nick. Forever a fan. Oh, my pleasure. I don't quite remember what I did, but I'm happy to do so.
But you only had what, like 10,000, 9,000 subscribers a year ago?
A year ago? Yeah. I think less than 10. It might have been right around 10K. Might have been right around 10K.
That's encouraging for losers like me that have 12,000. Maybe in a year, I'll be at 65K.
You got to put your link to your YouTube channel on your GoFundMe campaign.
Oh, yeah. On my Indiegogo?
Yeah, your Indiegogo. Seymour Butts, thanks for donations. HB says, true meaning of degree acronyms, BS equals BS, MS equals more S, PhD equals piled higher and deeper, JD equals jumbo debt, MD equals massive debt. Yeah, that's accurate. Furry Finesse says, free super, next one will be Weeb words I want to hear. Okay, sounds good. Furry Finesse follows up with, Vic is the digidestined. Ronica and Kick Vic are Diaboromon and his duplicates. I stand with Vic as a bunch of AOL instant messages giving the digidestined strength. I don't understand any of that.
Yeah, I need to get out my slide rule and an abacus to decipher and a cuneiform.
You know, slide rule. So my family's a lot of engineers.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of them the other day, and he reminded me that we sent men to the moon with a slide ruler.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. It's like, all of that pre-90 stuff was done with slide rules and like calculators with tape coming out of them.
Yeah. That's why they see it as a near miraculous event that we made it to the moon. Yeah. Because the actual technology was it was all analog and all like total American manly ingenuity, manly and womanly ingenuity that got us there. Very bizarre. Never should have worked, by the way. No,
it shouldn't. They should have all died in space.
Yeah.
Feel Good Always 990 says, I'm sure you have heard of this, but you should check out the channel called Astartes. It's a Warhammer fan-made series, and it is amazing. It is amazing. They finally got, in my opinion, they're capturing what Space Marines look like, which the Space Marine movie I don't think did well, even though I bought it twice. Because I support Warhammer properties because I want them.
You're a boomer. So you lost the digital.
No. I bought the collector's edition, which came with a DVD, and it was such low tier garbage. It was too dark. The colors are not vibrant on the screen. It was nasty. And then they came out with a second Blu-ray version that was much better. So I have my special collector's metal tin with the DVD in there. And then I bought the regular like $30 Blu-ray that is much better production quality and is more visible. But even that, I don't think they got it right. But I buy Warhammer property just because I think if more of it is made, something will eventually be good.
I agree. We'll give them a couple more shots at it. Hold on, you can keep reading super chats. I gotta pee.
Yeah. Blink Your Eyes 1400 says, how long I was out, possibly a week or more. Oh, that's from getting hit with the vehicle. Goodness gracious, buddy. Moist John says Nick needs the whiskey sponsors. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. If there's any whiskey company out there with the balls to sponsor Rekieta Law, do so. Do so. Talk to me. I will shill your whiskey left and right, and I will drink copious amounts of it, but always within reason on stream. And if you want, I will not enjoy the whiskey for you. Since that's what Diego wants, is they want you to not enjoy the whiskey that you're drinking. Shane Gossman says, hey, Nick, will you cover the Epstein updates? Yes. Yes, I'm waiting for a little more information, and when I don't have as much stuff planned. Guys, I think this week might be some deposition talk. There might be some hearing transcripts coming out this week. Those are things I want to talk about. So we'll see. We'll see what I can get my hands on. Don't want to connection to team or whatever. Or maybe I go to the courthouse and get them, or maybe I hire someone to go to the courthouse. You'll never know. But yeah, I need a window, but I do want to cover the Epstein case, but I don't want to do it unintelligently. So we'll try and make that happen. Also, the Pot Brothers, I got a response. We might have the Pot Brothers on, guys, and if you haven't seen the Pot Brothers, they do Shut the F Up Friday. They're criminal defense lawyers down in Texas, and I think they're great. Whiskey, cigars, and telling people to shut up and not talk to cops. That sound like my soulmates. So I'll talk to them about getting on the show as soon as possible as well. Okay, sorry. San Pan says, yo, rackets. Today I was busy working with clothing rackets, but I couldn't focus because the neighbors kept making a racket, so I smacked them with my tennis racket while listening to the Racketeers. So
Did you wear a jacket?
No, I think he wore a racket. Vork88 says, question for Doug. There was a PSP Earthworm Jim game being made. Were you part of the game development?
Yes. It got canned.
That's too bad. Oh man, YouTube just cut me off. Where did it go? No, not on the super chat
window. The window. Okay.
No, they just sometimes it jumps down really far, and then I have to go back and find.
You got to get through more super chats. There's too many.
Right, that's what I'm doing. There's not too many. There's just the right amount.
Oh, of course.
Careful what you say on this show, dog. I'll throw you. No. Kirabiaki Otter, thank you so much for the donation. Yellow Flash says, at a con, Dom Sky grabbed my butt and threatened me. Oh my goodness, Dominique Sky grabbed Yellow Flash's butt and threatened him. I have to believe Yellow Flash, who I believe has transitioned to they, them.
Yeah, so I always believe the victim.
And I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if I can. I have to believe because it might be a woman. Yellow Flash may be a woman with the they them pronoun.
I have talked to Yellow Flush personally, and Yellow Flush is not a woman. I can tell you that much.
How dare you?
I don't want to misidentify him. I know he calls himself. I'm sorry. I'm thinking they call themselves a they.
Yeah.
But that they is a man.
It's man. Saying. It's man.
That they is a man. I'll go to court. Throw me in jail. It's a man. Know.
Apparently, Yellow Flash's butt got grabbed by Dominique Sky. I have no idea. I can't,
allegedly.
Well, no,
if I had $2, if I had $1 for every gender there was, I'd have $2.
A Sipiter, a scissor. Thanks for the donation. Blaine 20 says, my dad would like for you to say underskin chin 3 times fast. So underskin chin, underskin chin, underskin chin.
Fetid.
Yeah, fetid underskin chin. Itches Cinco says, obviously a child prodigy artist from the womb. Unhinged Crank says, give EVS the link. Well, he's gone now. He's doing his own show. A Border Prince Warhammer Lore says, read Spears of the Emperor yet. Kerr's one is sick as. No, I haven't. I have the Spears of the Emperor Collector's Edition on my shelf. It's on my list. Right now, I'm reading Guardians of the Throne. I finally finished the Majos, which I thought started really slow, but ended up strong. I liked it. Good climax. Dan Abnett is a slow and gentle lover. And now I'm reading Guardians of the Throne because I love me some Custodes. Winger Z Wingser012 says, whatever happened to those fake emails that were sent to Ty? I don't know what happened with them. Ixel Pierce, thanks for the donation. Pro751 says, have you ever heard of SC Comic Con in South Carolina? Would love to see you there one of these years. I don't know if that's for you or me.
If it's for me, it's not going to happen, but yeah.
There you go. I don't know how many Comic Cons will let me come. Mainly because I've called Mark Wade a pustule so many times. They might not be allowed to bring me.
Is that a big automatic rejection if you call Mark Wade a pustule? Because I would think no one would go to a con.
I think depending on the con, it might be.
Okay.
I think it might be. Brian Duick says, Earthworm Jim has made it to the second page of popular projects on the main page.
Thank you, Rekieta Law audience. That is you guys that pushed it.
That's fantastic.
That is you guys pushing it up there by pounding this thing very quickly. It pushes it up to that popular project. And then other people start backing because they see it. So thank you.
Ichisinko says, didn't you get the idea for Vic's GoFundMe from EVS? Kind of. EVS starting Richard Myers GoFundMe for his legal fund. Had a huge influence. There are parallels. Meyer had close to 100,000 subscribers. Vic had 100,000 Twitter followers, roughly. There's certainly parallels there that I saw potential with and went with it. Harbinger 345 says, shh, don't tell Big Boyo I backed Earthworm Jim.
Oh.
Austin Hartless says, speaking of workaholics, I have no idea what to do with myself when I have a day off. Get 9 fleshlights from Costco, and then you don't have to clean them.
Yeah, for the whole family.
S. Cybertaz says, Nick, what if we want to fund you getting licensed in Texas, Colorado, and North Carolina? We watch these chuckle cucks like Montegraph and Cuck Lightyear spaz and re. I wouldn't ask you to do it. If I was going to get licensed in those states, I would pay for it myself. I might do a show about it, and you guys could contribute to the show like normal, but I would not ask you to actually do a GoFundMe for those purposes. So that's just because I wouldn't put my law practice contingent upon you guys funding it. That's weird to me. It's weird. Yeah. I'm not saying it's wrong. To me, it's weird. So
it's tacky and desperate. Maybe that.
Maybe. K Maxor says, just contributed to Earthworm Jim, hoping to give it to a friend who's a longtime fan. Curse that Canadian to US dollar rate. Also, Nick, alcoholic lawyer cat when? Maybe we need to do an alcoholic lawyer cat book. Could be pretty funny.
Yeah, dude, we put that in there. We'd raise.
A and B. I hope you get your money back. I really do. And like I said, anything AB that I can do to help, I will do so. I would recommend, again, talking to YouTube through their help or talking to your bank about a chargeback on the card. Just make sure you go through the proper thing. I didn't even read your message, so I was about to, but I didn't. So you didn't get any, my promise is to read all of the super chats that come in, and I didn't read it. So if you need anything from me, just let me know. Rando number 9 says, if I catch anyone eating/licking ice cream, putting it back in any store, I'm stomping you out on sight. Stop clout chasing and grow up. That's a good, yeah, I'm with you.
But still, if there's a Ben & Jerry's tub there and it looks really good.
Well, then just take it and eat it.
Yeah, I don't get the lick thing either. Like, you don't get the goodies if you just lick it. You got to eat that thing to get the chunks out of it.
Exactly.
Licking.
Mike Lombardo. Oh, excuse me. That convo about taking time for yourself kind of really hits me when I hear it. I spend so much time working that I feel like I'm getting nowhere. It certainly is hard to take that time out. It is. And at some points in your life, that 10% might be 1%, might be 2. But you're a man.
Invest in yourself. Yeah. And you only go through life once. No regrets, man. Hit it.
And I only say that, not saying that women shouldn't invest in themselves. I think women have figured out to invest in themselves. I really do. Yeah. On a different level than men have. We invest in, if you want to get like evolutionary with it, we invest in taking care of the things around us, in making them work and function, and sometimes to our own detriment, where I think women have struck a better balance. With taking care of themselves. Now, I might be wrong on that, but that's how
we just have 2 different jobs. Women do it different than men, but they're both taking care of business the way they need to.
Yep.
But men often feel guilty for investing a little bit in themselves and taking some risk. I'm just saying, go for it in your spare time.
Bloody Thumb says this has spawned a slew of copycats. Okay. Tablet Link says Phil is the owner of the Dollhouse, an S3X doll store that is sponsoring several shows on YouTube. Wait a minute. Oh, a sex doll store. Yeah, we got to get Phil on the show. I'm genuinely curious about the sex doll market. I think it's fascinating.
You're bi-curious about the sex doll market.
No, I'm sell curious about the sex doll market.
So curious. That is so jacked. Come on, guys. Anyone who's ever like held a woman's hand, a robot will never do. Sorry. I don't care what she does in the sack. Screw it. Go.
Maybe she'll screw you in the sack.
Yeah, she can. I'm just saying.
No, I just find it interesting that, like, okay, so one of the ideas that is out there is these sex doll brothels. And like Texas immediately is like, nope, we don't want people screwing robots on our time.
That's right.
I'm like, but wouldn't we rather people banging robots than like banging people?
No.
For money? Money. No. Okay, so wait, can we legalize prostitution then?
No.
So no legal prostitution and then no sex robot brothel. See, this is where I'm torn. Why not the sex robot brothel?
Hold on. Who's weirder, Nick Rekieta? The guy who pays for sex with a robot or the guy who pays for sex with a human prostitute? Who's weirder?
Oh, I don't care who's weirder. I'm just saying, wouldn't you rather a robot bear the brunt of prostitution than an actual person?
Well, I'd rather a guy go screw a tree, but that doesn't mean it. That doesn't mean it's like.
Are you a dendrophile, Doug?
That doesn't mean it's better. I mean, go pork a dolphin.
Don't do that. Trust me. Don't do that. That'll get you thrown out of SeaWorld post haste.
Very fast. I'm just saying, the robot thing, no. Automatic, no. Nick, automatic, no. Be like Texas. Just say no.
I'm not buying a robot. I just don't think that's I think, and even if you're not buying a robot, I just have a weird time saying, like, from a liberty aspect, well, I really don't want you to go bang one out in this inanimate object. That's weird.
Don't F inanimate. Obviously, Nick, you're going the wrong way.
You just said a tree, though. Can we have a tree brothel?
Go get married to a fat woman. Just go get a hog, and at least she'll make you happy, and you're someone who'll keep you company. And you're saying, no, go the other way and go find an inanimate object. Go find a hole in the wall.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, supplement your single time. If you're going to do it, I'd rather you do it with a robot than some poor girl.
But you assume it's some absolute that you're going to do it anyways. That's the thing that I fight against. It's like, no, this is not by necessity. It does not have to happen.
Okay, what if I opened a store where the floor is dirt?
Yeah.
Trees are grown in the store.
Yeah.
And then someone goes up with like an auger and bores out a hole in the tree. And then you insert like a fleshlight insert. Can I sell that? Can I do that since it's not a robot? You said go bang a tree. Can I do that?
No, you can't do that either. Find a real.
You just told me to bang a tree, Doug.
I'm saying go find a human being. Go in the right direction and go find a human. At least go find someone that maybe you don't even love. I mean, even that's like in the realm of humanity. You got to keep. Nick, come on. The peg goes in, a human peg, just by design, goes into a human hole. So tree, off the mark. Robot, off. Even your right hand, it's closed. But, I mean, it's not another person. Another person, can we start there? Can that be like first base is like, look, bottom line, a human being.
Confirmed, Doug's idea of first base is having sex with a person.
With at least Doug, a prostitute.
What's a home run for you, man? Oh my goodness.
Dude, how low are our standards where I'm having to advocate for prostitution as the most normal thing you can do these days? Like, that's how bad it is.
You just don't want to put people out of work. I see how it goes.
Yeah, I want to unemploy all those sex robots, imbeciles. And they're all Japanese waifu looking. They all wear little skirts and they're all they giggle.
Then carve the tree into the shape of a girl.
Carve the tree into the shape of a girl. Yeah.
That's some masterful chainsaw art, I'll say, right there.
That's right. Usually it's just like the chunky looking bear.
Now, what about Earthworm Jim? Like, what if it was an Earthworm Jim robot for ladies?
Now, because of my contract that says I will not detriment the intellectual property of Earthworm Jim at all, obviously I can't comment. You know, as a lawyer, I can't comment on that. I would never, ever comment on that.
I don't think that would be a viable product scheme anyway, personally. The spacesuit might get in the way. But I think maybe if we carved a tree into an Earthworm Jim.
I abstain, Your Honor.
Asia Fraser says, I really appreciate both you and Doug. More importantly, that was before we entered this discussion.
Yeah. This one now, they're already sending a super chat going, get that tall guy the hell off the air.
That's both of us. You're just taller. Valgarant, thanks for the donation. Mike Lombardo says, I think the fear of being broke again made me want to continue working as much as I do, but also realize I'm not really living being consumed by fear.
Yeah.
You're not. And I'm not saying that you need to get over that. I'm saying you will eventually get over that. Something will happen in your life and you'll get over that. And it'll be good. It'll be good. Even when it's hard. The Sean 2-3 says, Doug, if you do a collaboration with any manga artist in Japan, who would that be?
Is it Ozaku who did the Akira book? I mean,
I have no idea. You have it on your shelf, so.
Yeah, right there. I don't even care. Most manga guys are great and they're fun, but I do my own bizarre mutt art style, which is like a combination of Warner Brothers and Calvin and Hobbes and everything that I've stolen from Mike Mignola, everything I can. This is a weird mutt is what I do.
Bad Dragonite says, when I say toboggan, I mean those long winter hats. Oh, he's talking about the winter hats. So it's like a long stocking cap.
I've never heard those called a toboggan. Is that a thing? Like a long time thing they're called toboggans? The long, like Charlie Brown Christmas long hat?
Yeah, that would be great for an Earthworm Jim, like a earthworm flesh-colored hat.
That's genius. A windsock looking hat with like the Earthworm Jim, the Earthworm links in it. You can be a worm.
Yeah.
Dude, genius.
You could sell two versions. You could sell the hat, and you could sell the ones with like the full face mask that then have the earthworm. That'd be awesome.
I'm stealing that and not giving you a dime. Yeah, good idea.
That's the spirit. Mike C says, you're telling me they canned Earthworm Jim? Generally, you open a can of worms, not close it.
Oh.
Cesario JPN says, will you ever do a live stream with members of the fandom menace like EVS, Geeks and Gamers, World Class BS, aka the High Council, That Star Wars Girl, Doomcock, etc.? I've done streams with EVS. Happy to do more. Yeah, I do streams with them. Sure.
I've been on Geeks and Gamers.
And you've been on EVS several times.
Oh, I've been tons on EVS. I lived on there last year. Yeah.
Nothing. Not opposed. Not opposed.
We like cross-pollinating.
Exactly. Shining Nebula says this conversation is tree-generate. Yes, just paid to pun. Doug, I grew up with Earthworm Jim, so I'm so glad. So I'm glad your work is paying off for you. Keep it up. SV says, Doug, what about a woman with a full prosthetic body? Ooh, that's yeah. How do you argue with that one?
I would say because you start with a woman, yes, a fully prosthetic body would be fine. If it's a brain in a vat and all she has is a robot body,
like Krang,
yeah, then you make love to that robot body just to dignify her.
You just rock Krang's canister as hard as you can.
Fleshlight.
Bad Dragonite says, go do a tree, getting the deep lore of VeggieTales. Carbonite says, free YouTube premium super chat. Maddox lost. Oh, he did. Did you hear Maddox close down the Best Debate? He shut it down forever.
No, is that official?
Yeah, they had their last episode and he had his goodbye script.
Why do you think he did that? Is that just because the audience was so small, or because he seemed to have a decent sized audience? He just said, I'm done with this?
I don't know that you could say he had a decent sized audience.
So it's tiny. How big tiny? Like my audience tiny?
I have no idea how to confirm it because it's podcast numbers. So podcast numbers are obscured pretty heavily. Right. It was not huge. Not a huge show. And I'm not saying it's small. I just don't know that you could call it a big sized audience.
You know, if I met that guy at San Diego Comic-Con a couple of years ago, I might see him this year at Comic-Con.
Yeah. Well, if you do, he's got a new show about Godzilla.
What?
I don't know. I wish him well on it.
Yeah, you know how I'm a Godzilla nut.
Yeah, well, and do you know I met the guy who did the motion capture for Godzilla and 2/3 of Ghidorah from the new movie down at Anime Matsuri.
Where'd you meet him?
At Anime Matsuri, they were down there. Super cool. There, I actually only met. I didn't get to go to their booth because I was doing other things during the show.
Did you get a contact for any at all? Because I would love to talk to this guy.
Yeah, I got the guy who is the derpy head of Ghidorah. They call it Kevin.
Pass it on to me because I am singularly obsessed with this Godzilla King of All Monsters as the greatest movie ever made. I
didn't get to see it. It's good?
It is good. If you're a Godzilla fan, it's good. If you're not, which is normal people, it's not good.
Yeah,
anyone who's done a lot of Godzilla, yeah, you'll love it.
I wanted to see it. I really did, and I haven't gotten a chance yet.
Very good, worth seeing in the theater. If you're a Godzilla fan, remember Godzilla movies.
Dude, I grew up on 1985 Godzilla, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, you'll love it. You'll love it. Because Godzilla movies have always had terrible human interaction, terrible human plot. The best thing about them were monsters throwing each other into buildings. And this movie has all of those in. It's better. It's the best human acting and the best human story, even though it's terrible. It's the best for a Godzilla fan. And them throwing each other into buildings, the very best Godzilla movie ever made.
I'm gonna definitely watch it. And yeah, I'll get you connected with with the guy. He's crazy. He's done so much motion. If you've ever played a video game, you have played this guy's character somewhere or killed him.
Yeah. Tell him this guy wants your information. He's creator of Earthworm Jim, a huge Earthworm Jim fan. He just wants to set up a shrine to you and worship you on his YouTube channel.
I will. He's super nice. Nice guy. Really nice guy. Okay. Oh yeah, but apparently Maddox is doing some Godzilla themed show, and I wish him well in it. People think that I don't like Maddox. Yeah. I always wanted Maddox to do better than what was happening. Still do.
We are rooting for Maddox. However, as you said on your first show with me, he keeps doing the wrong thing and hurting his own career with everything he does.
Yep.
We care about enough to turn his tail. And as I said before, I don't turn my back on my friends. And so Maddox is a guy, even though obviously I'm closer to Dick Masterson now, I don't feel any obligation to say, and I hate Maddox. I ain't doing it.
No, and Dick offers free shirts to people who burn the alphabet of manliness, and I still have mine.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I don't know where it is right now. I think it's up there.
It's in the fireplace, but
no. It's getting closer to the flames. But no, I still find that book very funny. Gawker's Death Rattle says, "Tree love is free love. Stump humpers rise up." So there you go. Talbot Link says, "I'll let Phil know next time I see him about." I would love to talk to that guy. I think that's an interesting emerging market. Asia Frazier says, "Nah, still appreciate y'all Nick's input on many things. And as an aspiring artist, tips and tidbits from Doug, and the openness about faith is encouraging." And then she had to correct openness about faith because of freaking autocorrect. Bad Dragonite says, just send me a hat so I can pretend to be a worm. So that's for the hat idea. That's a
worm hat thing. That's created by me. I invented that.
Well, you should maybe send one to Bad Dragonite when you invent that.
TM me. Anyone who claims ownership of this thing or any kind of claim of inventing it gets sued.
Yeah. Xander's Rant says, "Doug, how do you get a good Christian girl? All the ones I know, seem to want a pastor or someone rich. They don't want a pastor. They think they do, but they don't.
No, they want a hardworking man. Find him in church. Find him in church.
Yeah. Go to church. Short Round says, "I saw an ad for a Nikki Rackett's oral fleshlight. I heard Ron bought one for Monica's bull because he thought it was the only way to get you to shut up. Police fact number 2, if a state trooper writes you a ticket without their hat on, it's an unlawful ticket." I don't know if we should take that as legal advice.
Is that true?
No.
Okay.
Hessian says, God bless you, Doug. I paid 1.5 times for shipping what backing Earthworm Jim costs. I have a feeling it will be worth it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's my job. That's my job, is to make it worth it. Yep.
It is. Mercenary says, Nick, tell Doug I got the $70 pack. I wish I could get the more expensive double pack, but unfortunately I've got to pay bills. And for me, it's more about all the good memories I had with the cartoon series. It got me to rent the video game. So there you go. Doug Tentards says, sorry, not going to watch tonight. The tard nipple can die and I'll celebrate it. He is a more competent CRP.
What's a CRP?
Coach Red Pill. He's a more competent Coach Red Pill, and I hope there's a hell and he'll suffer in it. At least he doesn't have that long to live anymore. Wow, that's deep. That's deep gouges on you there, buddy.
Wow. I'll take that under consideration, Your Honor.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Coach Red Pill reference is the meanest.
What does Coach Red Pill mean? Can you explain that?
Coach Red Pill is a YouTuber.
Okay.
He wrote a book called Wilshire Boulevard, and he came on my show. He asked me to review it. I gave him my honest review, which was basically, and he said, be honest. And I said, I think it needs an edit, which I do. Yeah. I still think it needs an edit. And he did a Indiegogo for it, and I am not a huge fan of how he structured the pricing. It was like $20, $25 for a digital copy of the book, $50 for a physical copy, $100 for a signed physical copy. And he had like $1,000 thing for like a thank you note in there. This is like a 250, 300 page novel. And I think the bones of the novel were fine. I want to make sure and get that. I just think some of the writing needed a little bit of it needed someone else to come in who wasn't so invested in the.
Most people need I use an editor, by the way, on all my work. I need an outside. I just hire a girl. She's like 22 years old. She can read, and she's really good. And she just tells me, do you realize like this is what this sounds like? The cadence of this is not quite right. That's all. You just need an outside person.
But Coach was involved in Andy Worski and let's see, Ethan Ralph, the Internet Blood Sports crowd and stuff. And I think since that stream, he's not been the biggest fan of me, and that's okay. I understand. Yeah. But my audience was.
This person being associated by me by this person who's wishing me dead. And I'm saying, thank you for contributing a super chat to Nick Rekieta.
And finally, my audience was very critical of Coach. It was my most disliked stream that I've ever done.
So a lot of thumbs down then.
Yeah, relative to the other shows. I mean, still more thumbs up than thumbs down, but it was actually kind of close. Yeah. And so, I don't know. I don't have a problem with Coach. I really don't. He's fine. He's always been nice to me, but I think after that show, he might've been hurt. And if my honest criticism hurt him, I really feel bad about that. So,
yeah.
Hessian says, speaking of wizards, have any of you read the Dresden Files? It's the most fun I've had reading any book series. If you haven't, it's the story of a PI wizard in Chicago. Awesome stuff. Nope, never heard of it. Siren Jag says, read is old bag. IQ by special request. Storms a brewing. Monica just ate my house. My cat's gone. Rex, no! There you go. That's
very good. Bag. Very talented. Very good.
Mercenary says, Nick, please do not use DLive. Short Fat Otaku did a video on how scummy DLive is and just how much of a scam it really is. This is on the level of, and Ron, we're talking about almost.
Enron.
Enron. Of Enron, not Andron. Go watch his video on his channel and see just how battered it is. I don't have too much plans to do DLive, and if I did, it'd be simulcast with YouTube.
Yeah, I have a DLive account. I'll never figure out OBS to be able to simulcast with it. But, you got to start coming up with alternates in case YouTube shuts it all down,
Ron Soye's Mangina says, hey, Doug, playing as Earthworm Jim in modded Smash Brothers as I speak. If he ever made it in officially, what would his final smash be? It's like a finishing move.
Yeah, he'd drop a cow on you, right?
Yeah, I think that he'd have to
launch a cow on you.
Or would he tie you? Would he tie you to the cow and then launch the cow with you?
Sure, wind you on the cow, 1, 2, 3, and the hooey, and then launch it. You'd be connected to a cow, thrown into space. Yeah.
You go. Hated 7 Days to Die says, thanks for the quick summary on the hemp oil case. We'll have to watch the stream later. We'll have to get an Earthworm Jim comic later. Awesome. And just a couple more. Goober Gabber says, name suggestion for the Whiskey Cat, Whiskey Whiskers. Neil Purcell says, Nick slightly late tonight and loves Godzilla 98. Rude. That's Matthew Broderick Godzilla, and that's terrible. That was bad. I saw that in theaters.
Perhaps the only inexcusable Godzilla.
Actually, seeing that in theaters is one of the greatest accomplishments of my life. I had to skip class to go see Godzilla in theaters because by the end of the school day, it was already pulled from theaters.
Wow.
Not really, but it was bad. I mean, I think it opened. I worked at the Lakeville Theater back then. It had 18 screens, and I think 6 or 7 of them were dedicated to Godzilla for opening weekend. And by Monday, it was down to 1 with limited showing.
Done. Yeah, we have a turd on us.
It was really bad.
It was really bad.
Neil Purcell says, Nick, have you ever beaten Earthworm Jim just like you've beaten... I have beaten Battletoads. No, I've never beaten Earthworm Jim. Asia Fraser says, as the daughter of a pastor, no one sane would want to marry a man into the stress of dealing with other people on a pastoral level. Bless those who do.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, man, that's it. We should wrap it up because it's late and you've been here a long time. One last time. We're going to teach him how to say goodbye. Never mind. That's a Hamilton reference. I'm in my singing mood. We're going to check the Earthworm Jim. Last we checked, it was 462,761, and I've refreshed it. We are at $465,044.
That's $3K more just from the last time you checked.
Yeah, man. It's been great. Fans have shown up. They clearly like Earthworm Jim, and they want to see it. So make him a good book, buddy. Make him a good book.
I will not let him down, dude. I'm working hard, and I appreciate the support. And Nick, especially you, you're a faithful friend. So it goes without saying.
Always.
Come over and play during Bubba Fest. We'll have a blast.
I'm definitely going to, and I'm gonna find some good whiskey to bring.
Yeah.
Okay. HH says, if you check Kiwi Farm, someone redrew your whiskey cat. Oh, great. With
airbrush in 3D.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on tonight. I'm going to let you go, and then I'll play the outro music. So.
All right. I'll jump. God bless you, brother. I'm going to go to bed.
Yep. Have a good night, pal. Peace.
See you, man. See you tomorrow. Bye.
See ya.
Boo.
All right, guys. That's it. That's Doug. Thank you for backing Earthworm Jim, supporting him in this last couple days of the campaign. There's like 3 days left. So if you haven't bought one now and you're planning on it, now is your chance over the next couple days to do it. Also, thank you for humoring me on the sponsorship of the Ridge wallet. I genuinely, this is not ad read speak. If I ever get a product that I don't like for an ad read, I'll tell you. But I genuinely like this. And it's pretty cool. So check them out. If you like them, make sure you use the promo code for the fans. You go to ridgewallet.com or ridge.com/for the fans. I can pull it up real quick to make sure I've got it right. Here you go. Let me, I'm going to start playing the outro music. Oh, it's playing on, hold on. Boomer. Everything's a boomer. Let me get it. No, I said stop. Stupid thing. Here we go. Now I'll play it. There it is. So, the Whiskey Lawyer is playing. It's, and let me pull up this thing one last time. Ridge.com/for the fans. So check it out if you like the Ridge wallet. It's cool. I like it. I'll show you the backpack next time. I'm only doing like one of these a week, so you're not going to see a spam of ad reads. That's not the purpose of the show. I just got the opportunity to endorse and be endorsed by a product I like. So pretty cool, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't like it. I hope you do. But that's that. So I will keep you guys posted on what's coming. I hope to have some juicy stuff for you tomorrow and Wednesday, and we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully I can get the Pop Brothers booked maybe on a Friday so they can all tell us to STFU. That would be great. I will be going live on Twitch, I think, for just a little bit tonight. Should I have said that? Yeah. I'll go live on Twitch. Probably going to do some Risk of Rain. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I've been having fun not doing very well at it. So, yeah. All right, guys. I'm rambling. I'll see you later. Peace. Peace.
So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all planet folks from Dante to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed, so pour out a glass for the team. Post on Twitter as we hear lawsplaining tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now.